Rallycross is back. This guy's back, Bakkerud. Packed grids are back. Did miss it. We're back in Latvia and some other classic venues. This legend is back. This is the 2026 FIA European Rallycross Championship, and the best racing on the planet is back. Oh yes, we are back, and we're back for day 2 of the 2026 FIA European Rallycross Championship. And if you missed day 1, you missed out big time, because it was a lot of fun yesterday. We had some great racing. That's the track that we're at. You guys are just looking at Biķernieki Sports Trass. My name's Andrew Coley. This is How Ridge. How yesterday it lived up to the hype. Thankfully, we did have a moment on Friday night. We're like, I hope it's good. It was good.
And another moment yesterday morning where Johan Kristoffersson went fastest twice in the free practice sessions and in Q1.
Yeah.
And you thought, this is ominous. Q2 and Q3 were absolutely brilliant, and we can expect much more of that today.
Yeah, absolutely. So down at the bottom of the screen here, you can see what's happening. Obviously, we had the first 3 qualifying sessions yesterday. There are 4 qualifying sessions. They get points based on where they finish overall, and that gives that intermediate classification. So take a look at this. Now, we've got quarter-finals for Supercar, for RX1. So you can see here the 3 session winners. Baciuska, 1 Q3, Terpane and 1 Q2, Kristoffersson 1 Q1. Let's have a scroll through, because right down to P24 gets in. So we can go all the way through to P24. There is the cut-off lines. At the minute, Ulrich Linnemann is in, Mandy August is in. But look, Pleskavas, Enlund, Paye, Tikkabar and Munich. We know that Tikkabar is back in, and we know that Pleskavas is back in. The other 3 are gone, we think, for the rest of the weekend. So, yeah, this should be interesting. We'll have a look at the points in a minute. Hal, maybe you can have a look at the points and figure out who needs to do what in this one. Fuchik is on the pole. Then we have Pleskavas in P2, Tikkabar in P3 and Linnemann in P4. Standings-wise, where was the cut-off? Pleskavas is just outside. He's in P25. Enlund is gone. Paye's gone. Tikkabar is in P28. Munich's gone. So Tikkabar's on 30 points, whereas Pleskavas is on 56. So realistically, for me, Pleskavas is the one who can get Mandy August out and try and make the quarters. Is that about right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, let's go. Day 2 underway. We have no time for chat here, I'm afraid, because there's so much going on, so many cars. Great start. Ulrich Linnemann goes around the outside. Pleskavas in P2. That's probably where he needs to be if he wants to get the job done. But this is all about getting a clean, fast run. How Pleskavas needs to score as highly in this session as he can.
He does, but he also just needs to make sure he has a clean run to beat Mandy August, because if he can just beat Mandy in this session, he will get ahead of her. And looking at who's behind, the gap is quite big in the intermediate, isn't it? So
there's only 1 point between them, isn't there?
So he needs to keep his head and have a clean run. It's not necessarily about challenging the top of the order if you want to make it through to the quarters. Meanwhile, at the front of the order, Ulrich Linnemann was really quick in Q3 yesterday afternoon, then had a problem and lost out. We heard the boost issue with the intercooler pipe broken, lost a lot of time. He'll be really frustrated. He came here not expecting a lot, doesn't really get on with the circuit, hasn't been driving in this championship for a while. Lots of reasons why he wasn't super confident, but he showed better than he is 23rd overall overnight, so he's got a lot to do this morning.
Linnemann's car looks good, to be fair. They've obviously spent a lot of time prepping that over the winter. You can tell if someone's car is tired or not. We know Linnemann's car went through a lot, Hal. Last year, was it, I think?
Every year.
Yeah, yeah, sorry, Ulrich Linnemann thinks, isn't it?
He's had some massive shunts in the last few years. Höljes, he had a roll. Estering, he had a massive roll at the top of the hill in the Euro RX finale a couple of years ago.
He rolled in
Estering
at the hill last year. So, yeah, I mean, it's the Ulrich Linnemann roller coaster. And of course, his sister Manfred Linnemann had a huge role, didn't she, in a national event last weekend? Yeah, in a Peugeot 206. So, Manfred, glad you're okay. She had concussion from that. So yeah, it's a fun sport, but it can be expensive at times.
Quick nod to Tikkabar's team. They've competed at this event as their crowning jewel of the Baltics events, and they had a clutch problem in free practice. He failed to get off the line in Q1, remember, when he was starting next to his hero, Patrick O'Donovan.
Yeah, that was gutting, wasn't it?
I got a message at 3 in the morning saying we're going racing tomorrow. They realistically are only going to race in this session.
Yeah.
But that's the sort of effort people are willing to make to be part of this, and that's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, he'd have to have an incredible score, wouldn't he, and have a load of people at the bottom of it have DNFs.
Not impossible, but
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. The quarterfinals is new to all of us, so if you're learning about it as well, if you're familiar with rallycross, the top 12 qualifiers used to go through to the semi-finals. And we've got a new rule this year that if we have more than 16 cars, we have quarterfinals, and that's to give people one extra run, basically. So lots of these people are travelling all around Europe. Not so much the big teams, yeah, those guys don't mind having one less run, but if you drag your car up here on a trailer from the other side of Europe and you only get 4 runs, that feels a bit gutting. So the idea of the quarterfinals is to give them a chance, but it also gives the top drivers a chance to fight their way back in. So the top 24 go to the semis, top 3 from each of those go to the quarters, the top 3 from each of the quarters go to the semis, and then as usual the top 3 from the semis go to the final. So we'll run you through how the points and all that works as you get into the show. If you have any questions for us, we're going to take some questions later on. So get in the comments on YouTube. Tierney, our social media manager, will ping me some of those comments later on in this session. So during this supercar qualifying Q4, their final qualifying session, send your questions in the YouTube comments and we will make sure we pick some of those up later. Linneman takes the flag. Pleskavas gets P2, which should be enough, depending on how Mandy August... No, it depends on Mandy's time. So it's Mandy August versus Pleskavas. Pleskavas is 3:27.3. Let me see what his times were like. Oh, yeah, we've got a car on fire-ish.
Chickabar.
Oh, no, after all the work, Hal, overnight. It's out, at least, or it looks like it is.
There's Mark touching the fire extinguisher, isn't he?
Oh, it's absolutely gutting after the team they put in. So, yeah, Mark Tickabar got 3 laps in, but unfortunately ends it with a bit of a smoky mess in the middle there. Lindemann takes it. Pleskavas, that was a 3:27. I was trying to see his pace from yesterday.
A 3:25.3 for Linneman would have been good enough for 7th overall. Sorry, 8th overall yesterday in Q3.
So that's good, isn't it? And Pleskavas, Hal, with a 3:27, has gone more than 3 seconds quicker than he went yesterday.
3:27.3.
I think that so Mandy's best time yesterday was a 3:32. She had the one where she finished a lap early in Q2. So
12 for your
yeah.
So yeah,
Mandy August has got to come out punching, hasn't she, and try and beat Pleskavas' time to save her place in the quarterfinals. Here is Pleskavas in the Joker lap, led around nicely by Linneman. It was a really clean run by both those two, and yeah, it's going to drag Linneman up the order as well, Hal.
Is indeed. They both had strong runs. You're right. It was Pleskavas who would have been 13th overall. It's intense up here, isn't it, during Q4, because there's a lot going on, trying to work out the points, looking at the positions in the intermediate classification. But that's why I love it, because there's still so much that can happen. And while some of the drivers will now be in a bit of a tyre conservation mode because you need good rubber, not only for today, but for the rest of the year. And we can talk about that through the weekend, but yeah, it's fascinating.
Can I just point out, you might have been able to hear the bird song in the background there, which I just listen to that. I hope you can hear that at home. It's just lovely. We're in a beautiful forest park on the edge of the city of Riga, of course, the capital of Latvia. And we've still got this to come. So the remaining, obviously, part of RX1's qualifying, then into RX3, RX4 and RX5, our new classes. If you missed it yesterday, we'll explain them later. Quarterfinals at 11:30. So that's at the end of this session. So it is bookended by the supercars, by RX1. And then at 1 o'clock this afternoon with the semis and the finals for all of the categories. There they are, lovely, noisy supercars. I've had tons of messages, which has been lovely. I hope you're having a good time. I haven't had time to read any of them because we were flat out yesterday. There he is, Andreas Bakkerud, very optimistically wearing his sunglasses. I think they might be surplus to requirement today, which is no bad thing, actually. It is a bit chilly, but it's not terrible. So, Holder Flat has said, who were you most impressed by yesterday? See you at Mondello. Looking forward to going to Mondello. That will be fun. But yeah, Holder Flat, who was I most impressed by yesterday? Andor Trepak, probably, for me.
Rafos.
Yes.
Because Trepak has form, and that's not to take anything away from what he did.
Events form, but yeah.
And he's also been great at national level, CZ level in that car. Rafos came in as a total unknown, and yeah, did a great job.
There is the track map. Yeah. Go on, Hal.
Brilliant circuit here in Riga.
You've driven it, haven't you?
I have, yeah, slowly. or slower than I would have liked, at least. But very high grip. Quite different to many of the circuits we go to this year, but a brilliant first couple of corners, and that's where we saw much of the action yesterday. the left into the right makes a big difference to the drama.
Got a minute to go here to get these guys off the line. Obviously a slight delay while they recovered the car of Tikkabar in the middle. This one sees Larsen on pole. He was Larsen yesterday. Oliveira next to him, then it's Mandy August, and on the outside is Joni Topinen. Now, Topinen yesterday was absolutely fire. He won one of the sessions ahead of Kristoffersson. He's 17 years old. He's in one of the ex-Ken Block Fiestas, being run by Set Promotion under the banner of kind of Reds RX. Got to get a good start here. He needs to be ahead of all of these cars in turn one. And then Mandy August, Hal has got to try and beat Pleskovic' time.
Indeed she does. Being next to Topinen will help that, because he will be quick, we know that, and he would have been TQ had he held on in that race.
Yes, he would,
had a front right puncture and lost all that time. He'll be disappointed, but I think he'll be pretty satisfied that he's right up there and in the mix.
Especially against the likes of Johan. And, you know, we must point out, it sounds like we're all excited if Johan's got a fight on his hands. We love Johan. He's a great sport, but he did have a fun piece to camera the other morning where we mugged him a little bit. He's a brilliant driver. He's the benchmark. Topinen's got a good start here. Does get the whole shot. Bit of a squeeze there between Mandy August. Larsen as well. She's still having a look on the run up to turn 3, but can't get through. So Topinen's got what he wanted. Unfortunately, left on the line was Oliveira, and he's still on the line. Now he gets away, so from commentary, and you can hear that in the background, Oliveira has just come off the line, and he's he's half a lap down, so Oliveira stalled at the line. Larsen is still really sideways, Hal, and he made some comments yesterday, didn't he, about his issues?
I did. Just to go back to Oliveira, he's 20th in the intermediate at the moment, and he's on 70 points. If you look down the order to Pleskovic, he's on 56, so it's a big gap. But
so that can help
Mandy going to lose a lot of time here. Important for him that he's got a way to try and get as far through this race as he can. But yeah, that's going to be interesting come the end of this session.
How many positions ahead of Mandy is it? Because there's only 1 point between each one. He's, oh yeah, no, how many points? This is live maths, it's terrible. Right, Topinen, fastest lap so far is at 48.1. That's bang on the pace you would expect. Very, very impressive. Actually, yeah, Hal, getting back to the question, yeah, who are you most impressed by? It was brilliant Rallycross yesterday. I think one of the things that was lovely was actually I was impressed by a lot of people.
Yeah,
it wasn't, oh, look at this kid's done well. Topinen went well, Rallycross went well, Trepak went well. You know, we've got this new bunch of drivers coming through who want to beat Johan, and that's what I was saying about. Yeah, no, we're not championing beating Johan, but Johan's the 8-time world champion. This kid is 17. And if he could beat Johan, it would be the biggest achievement of his entire life. He's the target, he's the benchmark, he's the best.
I also think you can look at it globally, can't you? And doing well is not just about setting the ultimate lap time. I have to say, Patrick O'Donovan, for example, when he was behind Rallycross in Q3, I think a few years ago, that would have been quite a different outcome, because when you're young and keen, you get a little bit impatient, but Patrick knows this is about a bigger picture. Fighting for a championship isn't about making a lunge in an early heat race at the first round of the championship. So there was a lot of people that did the right thing yesterday. They also did the wrong thing, and there was a bit of carnage as well, but that's the current thrust of Rallycross, isn't it?
It is indeed. We've got a few more questions coming. Let's see if we can do one more in this one. King Carrot for Hal, what happens at the GCK Clios?
There's a couple of them in the French Championship at the moment. We may see, well, I'm sure we will see some ex-GCK Clios at Lohéac later in the year, and yeah, we'll see all 3 Megans, hopefully, in the next round in Hungary as well.
Yeah, so if you're not clear, GCK was Gillan Shisharit's team, and they ran the Megans after they left ProDrive, which is the British prep company, which is so well known for building the grey, burnt Solberg era Subarus right away through the Subaru factory program. And then GCK built some Clios after the Megane, so yeah, it'd be great to see them back. Ibrahim himself, does this season feel the same as 17, 18, 19, or does it feel better, or like a fresh Rallycross experience? It doesn't feel better necessarily for me. I loved 2019 particularly. 17, 18 was utter domination by Johan. I loved 19. Here comes Topinen, and let's check his times. He'd done 2. A 47.7 on lap 2 was brilliant. The others were just over 48. Oh, he's a bit wide on the last corner. 3:20.5. How's that compared to yesterday, Mr. Ridge?
So, for reference, Kristoffersson went fastest in Q1 with a 3:16.1.
What did Topinen do when he won his session? He did a 3:20.2. So he's only 3/10 off when he won the session, but obviously they beat Johan in the start in that one. So Oliveira coming through. Now Oliveira here is absolutely... Oh, where's Mandy's time? So Mandy at 3:30. So Preskevas has beaten Mandy. So Mandy now requires the likes of Oliveira and some others to have problems and drop back. So we won't know who's made the cut until the end of the session, basically. We'll bring you that, of course, as soon as we can. Tapainan takes it 3:20.5. It's a great time. Mandy, August, Kjetil Larsen and Jose Oliveira. Oliveira and August in that battle potentially now with Preskevas for the final place in the standings. Yes, Hal?
What Preskevas needs is for someone to drop in between him and Mandy in the Q4 standings, because now they're tied on points. So if someone slots in between them, then obviously that's going to...
What will be the tiebreak? The fastest time? If they're tied, I'm trying to think.
First round, Andrew, please don't ask
we're digging. Yeah, no, we've already sent a massive WhatsApps this morning with James Nixon, the FIA legend, who is... I'm like, James, how does this work? How does that work? How does this work? He's like, I'm busy, mate. Here's some screenshots. So me and Hal were frantically reading those earlier. So yeah, Ibrahim himself, I think Hal, rather than better, he says fresh, I say reset. It does feel like a big reset to me. Do you feel the same?
Yeah. It's there's a great vibe, isn't there?
The atmosphere in the paddock is brilliant, and I think it's just to have these big grids. Yeah, last year you'd have qualified either way. Now you can have... Look at the big names you've got further down. Niels Volland in this one, Tapainan in the last one. Volland's on the pole here with Seppa alongside. Seppa made a great debut last year in Finland. Ollie O'Donovan and Mark Moser. O'Donovan hasn't had a brilliant weekend so far. We haven't seen the best of Ollie. He's still a very, very good driver. We mentioned yesterday he's 59. He's actually going to be 60 at or very close to, I think, Lousada later in the year. Lohéac. Okay, we'll have to mug him with a cake or something there, Hal. And I know the team will be watching in the tent, so don't you dare tell him. We'll do something. Maybe a custard pie him. I don't know how much he'll appreciate that. We'll find out from Myra. So runs turn one. Good start by Volland. Good start by O'Donovan as well. Nicely done. Ollie leaves a bit of space for Seppa on the inside and gets into P2 in the 208 Hansen machine. And Niels Volland is out front. Volland is sitting in P15 at the moment. What did he have yesterday, Hal? 12th, 17th and 15th. So he's been quite consistent, but not ultimately as fast as some of the others.
The track that should suit Volland as well, isn't it? He's come from the Phoenix background of being nice, clean and tidy. He's done a lot of driving with Audi at different points. His father, Rolf, obviously a Audi driving instructor. But yeah, just obviously not quite found what they wanted this weekend, and that's so difficult when a field this big. If you didn't quite find what you wanted last year, you would still been somewhere in the mix, and now if you're not quite on it, all of a sudden you're down in the 20s, and it's a big fight. But this is exactly what Niels Volland and Ollie O'Donovan would have wanted from that first corner, just to get a little bit clear. Anton Seppa jokers this time around, brand new Fabia for the Dynamo RX squad over the car that they drove last year, and clearly they ran it for the first time recently, and yeah, new cars just take a little bit of refining, don't they?
I just having to turn your volume up, Hal, because the supercars seem louder than they did yesterday. The one thing about having your commentary box right on the exit of turn 2 with their full throttle through 3 gears is it's quite loud, but I have to say this might be my favourite commentary box location yet.
Big jump from Volland, even bigger jump from Moser in the background on the way into turn 8. Moser, who hopefully we will see in one of those
Megane,
3 Megans in Hungary.
So of the 3, was one of them the test chassis? I guess it was, what, test chassis and 2 race cars, or did they all end up being
They all
raced?
got raced, didn't they? If you remember in 19, Liam Duran turned up here, didn't he, in Estering in the US at COTA in 2018, I think.
Yes,
Well, it was actually in 18 they were running the 3 cars. So, yeah. One of them remains pro-drive spec, and that's the car that Paillet's got. The other 2 were adapted later on after that relationship.
And Fabian Pye is going to join us in the commentary box in a bit. Hal's going to head off to the paddock, so we'll be able to have a chat with him. Obviously, he's had sadly a disaster of a weekend, Hal, hasn't he? Because they didn't manage to get out yesterday at all. So what do you say? What are they doing with the engines?
Yeah, they're going to pro-drive to get them sorted, and they'll be back as soon as they can.
So Volland is the leader, lap times 48.4. Tapainan was doing 48.3, he did a 47.7 as well, Tapainan, which I think was quicker than he went yesterday. We don't have all the lap times in front of us, obviously. So Volland's going well here. In terms of, say, well, he's been sort of mid-pack. Oh, he looks good there, Hal. Right past us, he looks really good. Here he is from the drone. There's that wonderful turn 3 with the camera on the inside of the road. And then turn 4, we've seen a few passes there, but you've got to tee it up in turn 3.
Yeah, you've got to get the exit nailed, haven't you? So many of the corners here lead into another, don't they? And I know that's a really obvious thing to say, but you can compromise yourself for several corners if you ruin your exit. There's your time to beat. Bottom left of the screen of Joni Tapainan.
3:20.5. Let's see though, what is Niels' best time yesterday was the 3:23. So obviously with track conditions could be different this morning, but it's still a good indicator of how they're going. So 3:23 was his best time in Q1 yesterday. What's he going to do this time? We'll see the clock stop in a moment. 3:23.3, so same. He's 0.3 of a second quicker than he went yesterday. That's got to be Ollie O'Donovan's best time. Ollie's sitting in P19 at the moment. What was his time? Is it 3:27.5? Yeah, it is, by 3 seconds. So Ollie's found more of the Ollie O'Donovan pace that we expect. Good stuff. Niels takes it from Ollie O'Donovan, Mark Moser and Anton Sepper. I think they're all relatively safe, aren't they, really, with a run like that? So we'll see them all in the quarterfinals. Crucially, Hal, if you get to the quarterfinals, anything can happen.
It certainly can, and historically we've seen good grip off the second two rows as well in the semis here, haven't we? So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Sensible from O'Donovan through the first corner. He was in turn 2 yesterday, out of our shot actually in Q3, where O'Donovan nearly rolled the 208. We were looking at something else at that point, but I was chatting with the team last night. He clipped the tyre wall on the inside. Yeah, and was on the door mirror.
Nearly binned it, didn't he? Which right next to us. We might have noticed. You think we might have noticed, but we didn't. Another question's come in from Resta Talma on YouTube. As an Indonesian, I'm honestly surprised with the choice of Jakarta as the Rallycross, as a host of the Rallycross World Cup. Are you surprised? Well, I was surprised yesterday when I messed it up and said that Jakarta was in Malaysia. So apologies to the entire of Indonesia for that. Johan, yeah, needs. I think he can. He should still get TQ here, but obviously Tapainen not in that race yesterday. They kind of ganged up on him, didn't they? Tapainen, Bakkerud, and Rupkanen, and Tapainen had his problems, so has dropped down. It's about whether or not they can get the start. We spoke to Baby last night, Hal, and they've got some work to do on the starts.
But Johan thinks they could have solved it overnight as well.
Does he?
No, last night he was saying it is possible. It's how you can perfect the map in the ECU for the start performance. So for sure it's possible. It's how quickly it's possible.
Kasper Janssen, Andor Trepak, Majko Tam and Zoltan Konček. Tam and Konček were winners of a round each last year. Trepak qualified brilliantly at home in Hungary and then didn't make it out the semis. Kasper Janssen, multiple champion over in Nitro Rallycross and over this side of the Atlantic as well. Very good driver. This is his supercar debut and his Euro RX debut as well. Here we go. Majko Tam, Kasper Janssen left on the line, Andor Trepak on the inside of Majko Tam, tiny little door slap on the way into turn 1. Kasper gets away behind by quite some margin. Pressure coming behind from Konček. Konček's been quick again this week in the Hungarian driver. I say Trepak leads though, and I say he so impressed me yesterday, Hal, with a bit of clear air. We'll see how he gets on.
Impressed me at the test here with his pace, having never been here before. This circuit's so different to the circuits in Central Europe. Down in Hungary and Austria, very abrasive, high grip relative to the loose sections you get on more traditional venues. Majko Tam into the Joker for the first time of asking. That's going to get him out of the traffic.
Yeah, it keeps Konček away, doesn't it? Also, it covers off Janssen. I mean, Janssen's going to struggle. He was 7 seconds back on the start.
Ivo Trouberg's on the radio for Majko Tam. I think that's sensible because Majko has good ultimate pace. Lap time wise, you don't really want the pressure of having Zoltan Konček nibbling on your rear bumper, do you? So just get out of the traffic, get your head down.
So Hal, getting back to the question about Indonesia, obviously you guys went with the World Championship to Hong Kong. The furthest east I've been with the series is Turkey, but we did of course go west to Kota. So yes, I'm surprised that it's somewhere new, but there is a massive following for motorsport in the region generally, isn't there?
Do you know, my residing memory from being in Hong Kong was how the local people there just embrace rallycross because it was so wildly exciting for what they're expecting. And I think taking this discipline to a brand new audience who don't necessarily know all of the nitty-gritty about the sport is really exciting because people get to see supercars, RX1 cars for the first time, and we get excited every time we see them. So if you're seeing them for the very first time,
we're still excited 20 years on. And when they see, when you hear the noise, and particularly around what is of course the old Formula E circuit, I've seen some of the track designs. It's not finalised yet, but it looks very cool, and I hope we'll have a ton of Indonesian fans there. So we're excited about it. So Trepak was that fastest lap of the day, I think, so far. 47.4. That's huge, isn't it?
Kristoffersson dropped into the 46s yesterday. Trepak runs a little bit wide there in turn 8 into the looser gravel. A little bit harder with a longer wheelbase on the McGann just to keep the rear wheels in check, but doing a great job.
What a weapon. Let's see
Hungarian.
This time looked a bit untidier in the standard laps. He crosses the line. Yeah, 48.1, so 7/10 back. Here's the merge between Tam and Konchek. Konchek not quite close enough. So Maiko Tam ending up back where he was, just in front of Konchek. How? Shout out to Kasper Jansen. When you see him in the back of this shot, there he is. He was 7 seconds down. Has he jokered? Yes, he has. So Jansen has jokered and made up 7 seconds. Kasper's kind of flown under, oi, good lad. Flown under the radar a little bit this weekend, hasn't he? Because he's not been right up the sharp end, but actually he hasn't really done anything wrong either.
No, he's had some niggles, hasn't he, which was cost him. He's been in some traffic, but yeah, we haven't seen the best of Kasper yet. And Trepak's in the Joker for the final time of asking. He's not under pressure from behind, but this is about getting the best overall time he can in Q4 and seeing where that puts him later on. Trepak crosses the line. It's a 3:19.9. That is quickest ahead of Joni Tapainen. Great job by him. Jansen side by side with Konchek to the line.
Very near. Kasper Jansen did brilliantly there. I want to have a look at the times yesterday from Trepak. How? What was this one? Did you say 3:19?
A 3:19.934.
So that is 6/10 quicker than he went in Q1 yesterday. So that's Trepak's fastest time of the weekend. Obviously, track conditions different, we know that, but still gives a good indicator. And with that super quick lap he did in the middle, I'm pretty sure yesterday Bakkerud did 47.7, 47.7, 47.6 on that run that he said was perfect. So, well, no, as good as he could do. And we said he was hyper-focused. So that lap time from Trepak is really good, I think.
And critically, 6 tenths up on Tapainen's overall time, and we know how fast Joni Tapainen is, so good job. They gave each other good racing room in the first couple of corners.
That was the only slap, wasn't it, rear right of the Trepak to the door of Tam. There's that dip in the road that's just to our right.
You just can't see it, really.
See it. I mean, it's so many times. We drove the car around on Thursday for a sneaky lap, the hire car, slowly. There were people putting branding out. It's terrible to run them over. But the dip is so marked, isn't it, when you come through turn 2, the road goes down and then up. Great stuff from Trepak. So, this is a good one, I think. Teddy Cat, who's got the best livery on the grid? That's tricky, isn't it?
I'll need some time to think about that. I'll come back to you.
I love how stressed out. I love Ollie O'Donovan's livery this year. I think it's mega. I said at the test, and they were like, oh, the yellow's slightly wrong. I said, keep it. I said, I think it's mint. I really like it. But Bakkerud's livery is very Bakkerud, you know. Here's Yanis Balmanis with a quick rub of the eyes. Yesterday set the crowd off several times, just doing his little knuckle shake there, getting himself good to go. He got the whole shot and took the win twice, I think, didn't he? And then he was a bit grumpy. I saw him at the end of the day, and he'd been hit in turn 1 or something, and he was very upset about it. He said, otherwise I would have got 3. OC Vaby is on the pole for this one. Then it's Litvinovic, Rafos, O'Donovan and Balmanis. So the fact Vaby's in this race as well means our final race is definitely a different grid than we were seeing yesterday, with Karai and Bachuska again being there, so that'll mix things up as well. So Balmanis, if he gets the start here, the Latvians will go bonkers up in the stand in turn 3. Oh, Baby had to dig the clutch. They haven't got the start right just yet. O'Donovan gets a good start, moves across, shuts the door on Rafos. He's inside, spin. Oh, O'Donovan's mega sideways, lights it up big time. Yanis Balmanis is there to pick up the pieces, but Patrick just about holds on. That's the same place that we saw Balmanis on the lock stops yesterday.
Big nudge in the rear for O'Donovan in turn 2, sent the car sideways. Will there be any telltale signs on the front of Balmanis' Peugeot 208? We see the front of that car for the first time. As you say though, Andrew, OC Vaby left with it all to do on the line. Yeah, there is damage on the front of Balmanis' car, so Yanis did give Patrick a nudge up the rear into 2.
Litvinovic was the spin in turn 1, Hal in the background, and who's that? Vaby's gone Joker immediately, so he goes in now, try and get some clear air. I think he'll end up on the back of Litvinovic straight away here, not sure about that.
Remember, it was O'Donovan and Balmanis that were banging doors on the exit of 2 in Q3 yesterday afternoon.
Okay, so there's a bit of need. Oh, yes, maybe that was when Balmanis was unhappy then.
I found out this morning as well that O'Donovan was driving without a spotter yesterday, ostensibly. The radios stopped working once they began the races, so the radio was working perfectly on the way to pre-grid and after the race, but during the race, for whatever reason, the radio ceased to work. So Patrick spotted for himself all day yesterday and did a solid job on that basis.
Good lad.
I'd have forgotten what lap I was on, in all honesty.
Oh, mate, yeah, 100 as well. I think, inside, Rafos clips the barrier with the front left. We've seen a few people do that, and a load of time marks down there. Baumanis to the Joker.
Vaby's flying.
goes in as well. Vaby's on a big push. They're trying to cover him off. So Vaby's tactics work well because they both responded. They're not going to get there. OC Baby moves up with P5 after a near stall at the start line. How's looking at the lap times?
47.0 for OC Baby. On a mission in the Volkswagen Polo. Now behind his compatriot Rafos, who's been so quick this weekend, but they are in very different machinery.
Oh, Vaby so late and straight on the brakes after Rafos drops a wheel on the dirt on the outside. Vaby tries to find a way through, not there. He may look at the hairpin, so OC Vaby's got to try. Have a look at the predictor saying 2.6 seconds. The Joker time is 2.5. Would retain first by a tiny amount. Vaby is desperate to get through. He needs Rafos to go Joker this time, and he does. Rafos releases OC Baby, so now it's Baby versus of course O'Donovan hasn't Joker, has he? So Baby's got to get that gap down now to 2.5. I think that's a longer Joker than yesterday, but this is based on everybody's previous Joker time today.
Levinovic up the inside of Rafos, out of the final corner. Great move from the Polish driver. Little nudge as well, just to open up the door. Rafos gives the racing room.
That was great stuff, wasn't it? So OC Baby still with that fast lap. What did he do last time round? 48.2. Okay, now the gap's come down. He's saying that OC Baby's going to get it. So Patrick O'Donovan's got to have the lap of maybe his weekend here. He wants to hold this position, Hal.
I was partially thinking that O'Donovan should have gone on the previous lap, but of course you can't predict whether Rafos would have gone anyway, so you end up in that fight, don't you? So he had to stay out. He had no choice.
Thing is, when it's this quick, he's gone. He's gone. OC Baby's got it. So Baby, after having to kick the clutch at the start, despite O'Donovan giving it a big send in the Joker, that's a brilliant drive by Ola Christian. Coming back after a bad start, a bad start to take... Oh, no, so no... Yeah, no, it's the final lap. I was waiting for the checker flag and the clock ran a bit longer than I thought. 3:21.4. So it sees him slot into P3 in the session, Hal, after a terrible start. Quite a lot of dust. You see, I wonder if it's a bit dustier over in the hairpin or maybe in the Joker lap 2. We can see dust in the background here.
Brilliant damage limitation. Johan Kristoffersson styles of damage limitation there from a poor
Johan did
start.
that yesterday, didn't he, as well? Like with big recoveries from P5 to P2 in 2 of his races. But that's a mega drive, isn't it?
Very good indeed. That's exactly what you have to do. You can't let yourself get flustered in that situation. Of course, OC's super experienced. The car moved and then bogged. So, yeah, they're clearly working on that start process. Litvinovic into the side of Baumanis. Baumanis into the rear of O'Donovan. Litvinovic was hard into the first corner. Very committed. And then later on...
This is Baumanis at the start. Oh, he ended up on the dirt. Oh, OK, I understand why he hit Patrick. He was on the dirt on the outside, so...
Litvinovic had come in hot into turn 1, hadn't he, in the Audi?
Hal, we've had the barrier clip from Rafos. We've had a question coming about the starts, which is really relevant to Baby, where, let me check.
Look at Rafos' front wheel in that slow-mo. That's a great shot. I think he's damaged the steering when he clipped the barrier there.
This is him on the final corner. And look at Litvinovic, just finds the traction. Look
at the wheel moving, Andrew. I'm sure he's done some damage to the car where he's clipped the barrier there in turn 8.
And he was very sideways here on the exit. So, yeah, Ibrahim himself again, he says, can you explain why the cars are struggling a little bit more in the starts? And that's really a difference in the regulations between Euro and World.
So, briefly, the World Championship had homologated software to restrict the costs to limit what people were able to do. European Championship's been more open, and therefore you can do more with the electronic systems, and some teams are more experienced or better than others.
Yeah, so the World Championship teams, of course, haven't had the time to do that. We're going to see if Kristoffersson's got a better start than Baby this time. Yesterday, Rukkonen, Bakkerud and Tapanen were all beating him off the start. We haven't seen Baciuska and Karai in the same race as Johan, and he's smack in the middle of the grid here, Hal.
Johan will have seen what happened to OC and changed something if they're on the same settings.
Yeah, that's a very good shout. Yeah. I remember him telling a story about sitting on the grid in Canada, and he said, we had a hold-up, and I saw that the engine bay temperature had gone up by 10 degrees, so I went one click up on the start RPM because I knew it would bog, and you're like, oh, my goodness me, you really are very good, aren't you? He is very good. He's currently sitting in TQ. Is he going to remain in the TQ spot at the end of qualifying?
Kristoffersson's bogged.
Terrible start then. Kristoffersson exactly, in fact, he's stalled. Bakkerud round the outside, Rukkonen sideways, that gives him a nudge. Bakkerud ends up in the gravel. Rukkonen with the whole shot, Bakkerud recovers into P2. And there is Kristoffersson at the back of the pack. I don't know if he dropped the same amount of time as OC or not. This is on then, isn't it, to see whether or not Andreas Bakkerud is sitting in P2 in the standings. He is 12 points back, so he would need Kristoffersson to have a bit of a shocker here. But at the minute, he's already on the back of them now. Come on, Johan, give him a chance. Wow.
But that's also the nature of the concertina in the first couple of corners. These guys will be fighting out front, where Johan's been absolutely committed on his own.
So if nobody goes Joker, he will. If they don't, he won't. There you go. Because you said, didn't you, Hal, if he loses the start, he'll always Joker on lap 1.
And that hasn't really worked out for him, actually, because now he's on the back of Bakkerud, who can kind of react, and both of the set-run cars in this race are together. Whether they'll work together or not, I don't know, because they've run out of different awnings under the same broader umbrella. We'll have to see how that plays out over the course of this season. But Kristoffersson has a bit of clear air, and with these two fighting up front, we expect to see him close on the back of Andreas.
Look how smooth he is into turn 3, Hal. He's just got a slight push, slight understeer the whole way in, and then opens the throttle up super smoothly. You're on board with him now. The car looks, in the number 8.
The car looks so compliant, doesn't it? They've clearly got the diff set up beautifully, so it's not, as you say, it's not pushing the rear, it's not doing anything he doesn't want. On the back of these two already.
He's so tidy, and probably these tyres, the Höljes tyres favour him. He goes Joker, so this might be to cover off the cars behind, or it might be because he feels he wants a bit more road in front. Yeah, he's got them done already. So Kristoffersson's lap time last time round was 47.8. That was his lap 1. Here he comes on lap 2 with the Joker, of course, so we were at 49.6.
What do you do as a spotter now? I'm already nervous as a spotter, because do you send Rukkonen now? I think I would.
100% I would.
Send Johan now.
But then if they were going to work as a team, and they're not really a team, so I don't think they will, you'd send Bakkerud and have Rukkonen maybe lift them.
No, I don't think Bakkerud will have enough.
No, I don't think. Yeah,
so you'd have to send Rukkonen to hope to get in the gap between Bakkerud and Kristoffersson.
But then you could have Rukkonen hold him up. I don't think they'll do that. I don't think it's not enough of a team, is it?
I'd send Johan.
Cars in the same awning. They've sent them both. They've both gone Joker now. Rukkonen and Bakkerud have gone Joker. Watch for Kristoffersson on the inside line. Rukkonen's going to be safe here. Bakkerud is going to be very tight indeed. Rukkonen round the left-hander. Watch for the overcut with Bakkerud. He's round the outside, doesn't matter anyway. Kristoffersson has got there with a lap to go. Now, can the 8 times world champion make a move on Rukkonen here? Either way, this should be enough. Well, it will be enough to secure him the TQ, because Andreas Bakkerud is now behind him. Wow.
I don't think he will. He won't risk the damage, the penalty, the tyres, or the time, because he wants to get to the end of this and be top qualifier.
Yeah, which he will be, and that gives him pole in quarter-final number 1. We'll run through the ins and outs of that when we get to the quarter-finals later on. Over the jump now, Kristoffersson with another Brit, both him and Vaby with the recovery drive. Crucially though, Hal, it goes back to that question we were answering before. These guys have run the World Championship software, meaning they don't have the experience of the stars, and they haven't got it right at the minute. 3:19.9 for Trepak. Is he about to win the session? Round the final corner comes Rukkonen. So Rukkonen trying to take it. I don't think it's enough. It's not. Andor Trepak wins the final qualifying session here in Latvia. What a brilliant drive by the Hungarian driver. Could not be more pleased for him. It's going to move him up the order. He's already sitting in P9, Hal. Said he'd really impressed me, and that is bang on, isn't it? Wow. 4 different winners from 4 different qualifying sessions in the opening round of European Rallycross 2026. Absolutely brilliant season. Johan Rukkonen takes the final qualifying race of 2026. Johan Kristoffersson, Andreas Bakkerud, Rokas Bakuska, and Tamas Karai, who lost a bit of time there on the opening lap. Bakuska clearly passed him at some point. Oh, that was early on, wasn't it? Bakuska was ahead. It was those two that jokered on lap 1. He stalled out. He fully. I think he did. I'm not.
Yeah. We didn't hear it, did we? But
this is turn 1. Look, Bakkerud ran just a little bit deep onto the loose, which Rukkonen and him. And as you said, the concertina allowed him straight back up to the back, and this was the point where they're going, oh dear, we're going to have to go now, we're going to have to Joker. And yeah, it didn't work out, did it, with them both going?
Interesting, Bakkerud's got the wipers on. I thought it was just the camera lens that had something on it, but I think maybe it's some oil from Rukkonen's car, but when we went on board of Andreas, it was definitely murky. Sometimes if you get some debris on the camera, it looks like liquid, but he's got the wipers on for the whole race there.
Fantastic stuff in the final qualifier here. Kristoffersson, Hal was dead right. You might be right about it. It's not that's dust or smoke, isn't it? But comes over the final part of the lap here, across the finish line, and that is qualifying done and dusted. Here then are the intermediate standings for round 1 of the European Rallycross Championship. Kristoffersson is the TQ. I know a lot of you thought that would happen. He's done brilliantly, to be fair, to recover from 3 bad starts in Q2, Q3 and Q4. He won Q1, but look further down the order. Tapainen won Q2. Baciuska won Q3, Trepak won Q4. All these drivers are making it. Remember, the top 24 go through to the semi-finals. And let's have a look at who hasn't made it through. Pleskavas is in, and Mandy August is out, unfortunately. So Pleskavas makes it, Kjetil Larsen is in, Jose Oliveira is in. So those drivers missing out. Mandy August, Enland's gone home, Tikabar we saw with the fire, Paye hasn't made it out for a single session, and neither has Rennie Munich with their technical issues. So those are the drivers that don't make the cut. And these guys are going to have some brilliant fun later on today watching those quarterfinals. Okay, deep breath, onto RX3. Hal, I'm going to have Fabian, come on up. Fabian Paye's here, he's going to join me in commentary in a minute. I've just seen him off to the side. Yesterday he was wearing his race suit, so I could recognise him more easily. He's in disguise today. But we'll get him to come on up here and join me. So Hal Ridge is going to go off with the camera as we switch into RX3 mode. And Fabian Paye is going to come on here and just get his microphone in place. There it is. And this button here is the one that makes you come on air and off air, mate. That's all you need to do. So red is on. Yeah, I'll press it for you this time. All right. Fabian, welcome. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I'm sorry to see you. I would rather have seen you out on the track, but we'll figure that out later. Hal's see you in a bit, mate. Hal's heading off to the paddock. We'll get Euro RX3 underway, and then we can have a chat with Fabian during some of these races as well. Marcus Rosrud, Andre Souza, Jan Dvorak, Dylan Dufas and Samuel Kovacs in this one. So once the race is underway, we'll have a chat. Looking back at yesterday, Julian Mounier currently sitting in the top qualifier spot, having won Q2 and Q3. And these machines, of course, are very different. 1600 screamers, and you can hear the wheel spin and the RPM as they get away off the line. Inside line, Rosrud's got a good start, will defend that position. Trying to come around the outside of him was Andre Souza, but it is Rosrud, and Souza, a little bit of contact in the background. Dylan DeFast there with the Polo that we saw, I think, with broken steering in yesterday's qualifying session, and Rosrud leads. Fabian, welcome, mate. First of all, obviously, we'll follow the racing a bit, but we'll chat too. We're gutted not to see you out there. Give us. We have told them that you had engine problems, but a bit disappointing.
Yeah, it's very disappointing, of course. Well, of course, we have put a lot of energy in this program, but we knew that it was a very tight schedule. So
from when you got the car until the first race.
Yeah, we got the car very late, and everything was new to us. So we got everything in the state of how it was. We didn't really have the time to check everything, and until the last moment, we were thinking of maybe driving with the 208 or with the Megane. So we did a big test session with the Megane. We drove a lot, and we had absolutely no issue, and it was quite quick. So
that's so gutting, isn't it? Absolutely no problems, and then you came here in FP1, you had a problem straight away.
Right away. So if we drove like 2 laps more in the test session, we would have had the issue in the test session. So
right, okay. And did you feel that? I know you told me it was a bit of a noise in the top half of the engine, top end, but you felt you would have destroyed the engine if you'd raced with it?
Yeah, there was no point of driving how it was, because it would make more damage. It was all the power was not there, obviously. So yeah, it was no point driving.
And then the guys worked really hard. Okay, Joker from P3 for Kovacs. Kovacs goes Joker. Souza here looks like he's got more pace than Rosrud, but hasn't gone. Kovacs trying to defend potentially from Dylan Dufas. Dufas in the Polo, left-hand side of your screen, white and blue. Going to be close between them. Kovacs needs to run Dufas wide here, and he does nicely done. Or Dufas looks inside. The Joker merge here is great, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes a lot of show, and you have different racing lines, and all depend. When you come out from the track, you can see where the other car is, and you can choose either to go inside, outside.
And they can get you either way, can't they? That's what I love. Like Bakkerud yesterday went round the outside of Kristoffersson. We saw Trepak, Litvinovic a minute ago go up the inside. And while we're talking Trepak, to see him win that session now in the Megane, that must be making you think, okay, this is cool.
Yeah, we know the car has a lot of potential. And what we have seen in Lohéac when we were driving the car, we were like, okay, we need to drive this car. You know, we need to take the risk to bring it there. And I mean, there is no better way to learn a car than to actually use it in a race.
Did you back-to-back test it with the 208 in terms of lap time in the same conditions?
Not the same conditions,
okay.
But because we couldn't have the 208 at that moment. But
brilliant fight going on here, sorry, between Duface and Sousa. Everybody's joking now. And Kovacs, with the fastest lap, has made his way up into P2. So with just this final lap to go, look at that, 51.2 from Kovacs. Battles go super close between them. I still love RX3, and a hugely popular category in France as well, isn't it?
Definitely. We have a lot of cars in front, a lot of very good drivers, such as Dylan, he's very good. And they have a new car this weekend, so this is the first race. And they make it specially for the European Championship. And I even went to the test station with them.
Did you?
And I tried it. Yeah.
Did you? Was it good?
Yeah, it's really very good, very strong. And I think they have a great potential for development and to perform well this season.
Rosrud coming through the final couple of corners here in the first of our RX3 races for their final qualifying session, Q4 here, day 2 in Latvia. Kovacs did look quicker, but Rosrud tactically, good job, kept the door shut. He takes it. The time is 3:38.4. Looking at yesterday, I mean, yeah, Munier was winning with 32s and 34s, so he's done well there. So Rosrud takes the win from Kovacs, Duface, Sousa and Dvorak. Great stuff in that one. Look at Rosrud's victory pose there. He was brilliant last year in Höljes, to say, got the TQ spot, and then unfortunately had a problem during the semi-finals and ended up being disqualified there. So I think you're going to come and see our glorious, well, okay, Fabian's glorious face, my face for radio. But we're here in the studio. Look at that. That's the forest. It's behind us here. We've got a packed grandstand up there at Biķernieki Tras, and Fabian here rather than in the car. So you said already the potential of McGann was great. You didn't knock back-to-back with the 208. What needs to be exploited from that car? Because when it came to the World Championship, it was good, but obviously ProDrive went after 1 year and it kind of... What you say, there's lots of potential in it.
Yeah. I think I've been talking a lot with Richard Thompson from ProDrive, and they are really frustrated that the car was not able to show its full performance, you know.
Yeah.
So they are willing to help, you know. So that is very good for us. But yeah, the car itself is very different to drive from what I'm used to with the 208. On the chassis side and on the engine, everything has a completely different philosophy.
Yeah.
So, but it's very efficient. You can really feel when you're in the car that it has been developed to be efficient. It doesn't go wide, you know, there is a lot of traction. So yeah,
it's kind of cool,
nice.
isn't it, to be driving a car that was built by ProDrive as well. I mean, I'm sure you're a rally fan as well, and like, you know, the history of them with Subaru and everything. It's got to be a good car. So I can't wait to see how you get on with it later on this year. Andreas Kragas on the inside, then it's Tiago Ferreira, Vaclav Tuma, Dominic Senegacnik and Levente Couture in this one. At the moment, Vaclav Tuma is sitting in P13 and Tiago Ferreira is just ahead of him in P12. Remember, only the top 12 go through to the semis. They don't have quarterfinals. Ferreira is 3 qualifying points ahead of Vaclav Tuma. So Tuma needs to beat him here and hope that a few people are between them in the intermediate standings, the session standings, and that he might be able to sneak the position. So those two are our key players in this. Tuma in the middle of the grid. It's pretty even, but Vaclav Tuma going a little way backwards. 5 wide, it's a sandwich, it's not going to work, and off on the inside, Kragas has ended up in the gravel trap. More contact again. There was contact there between Senegacnik and Ferreira. I think Ferreira ended up on the loose. So Tuma has actually ended up, I think he's in P2 as they cross over the loop. He is, so Senegacnik leads Tuma, and Ferreira P3. And finally, getting away from turn 1, Kragas, just by our commentary position, has just set off. So where was Kragas in the overall order? Oh, he's up in P4, so he's probably safe either way. But this is about Ferreira versus Tuma. It's hard, isn't it, Fabian? You know, we can look at this with all the data and the bits of paper in front of us. You guys in the car, you can only control what you do. Yeah,
and the first corner here is really tricky. I talked with Johan Kristoffersson about it, and yeah, of course, you can feel like if you're on the pole, you can see that the guy at the right side has a little bit of advantage. But if it goes like this right to the 5th place, then you can be squeezed, and there is nothing you can do about it. So it's a very tricky first corner.
Where do you like to start from? Because as a driver, you're nearly always in the driver draw we did the other day. Oh, I want P1. Everyone wants the inside. But for me, with the wall there, it's not always the best place. You know, we've seen people get from P5 right the way across, carrying a bit more speed. I don't know, I don't think it's so favourable. I think Lohéac, yeah, I want to be on the inside, but there's some curbs, there's no wall.
Yeah. Lohéac is quite obvious what to choose, but
yeah,
I think here you can either have a good start if you start on pole on the outside also.
Yeah.
It all depends if you have a good start or not in the end.
Yeah.
Because if you have the pole, if you have a good start, then if you are safe, you know you can manage to keep a gap from the wall.
Make a bit of space.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, here it's very tricky.
If the guy in slot number 2 has a good start, you've got no room, have you?
Yeah, of course, also. So yeah, but in the end, if you have the pole, if the guy on the second slot have a good start, you can brake a little bit, give some space. But yeah, it's very tricky here.
So brilliant new season. Obviously, we're having a great time. I hope everyone at home is enjoying watching as well. What brought you back to the European Championship?
Several things. Actually, I did a lot of season in the French Championship. So at some point, you want to get some new experience. You want to learn some new stuff. So. And there is a lot to learn here, you know.
Yes.
You have a lot of great drivers, and I think that's the best way to progress as a team, as a driver. When you see how Johan is doing, I mean, it's completely crazy.
He's incredible, isn't he?
He's completely in another world.
He's so consistent. I think that's the other thing is, yeah, there are lots of people who put in a quick lap, but he'll put in 4 of them. And the other thing is, if you give him 1 lap like we've seen now, whenever Johan goes Joker, if he's not in the lead, you have to respond.
Yeah.
Don't give him. You give him 2 laps and you're dead.
Yeah, for sure. When I was looking at the race and I saw that he was going to the Joker, I said, okay, they are going to respond right away. Scared, you know.
You have to go straight away. You have to go straight away. So.
He's so good into keeping the tires in the right window, because these tires, they have a small window that you have to keep into, and we can see that it's easier for him to do it when he's in front of the race, because he manages race. But then when he's in the pack and he has to fight, then it's a bit more difficult.
Absolutely. Václav Čima coming in the Joker lap here with Levente Couture, Senegacnik on the outside, and Ferreira. Remember, Čima needs to beat Ferreira and hope that Ferreira's a couple of places back. Ferreira is going to be 2 places back in this. So Senegacnik takes it, 3:38.1. Not sure where that's going to sit. We'll wait for the times to pop up on the screen, but good job by Senegacnik. Say Václav Čima beats Ferreira. Remember, he's sitting in P13, but we need to see where the standings end up to see who misses it.
All right, the last one, the quickest.
Yeah, great stuff from Super 1600. We are going to go to Hal Ridge quickly, who is with Andor Trepak, who, of course, has got a Renault Megane. His one's working. Unfortunately, Fabian's is not, but he'll be back with it. And the performance was fantastic in that last race. Hal Ridge.
And amazing performance in Q4. 4 different winners in the qualifiers here. Fastest time to set you up 6th for the intermediate classification. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels really good because before this qualifying we were only P9 overall. So with this really cool session, with the support of Oreca and with a really great launch, we managed to win overall the Q4. So luckily we are in P6 right now, so we are waiting the quarterfinal.
Good luck.
Very happy indeed. I think P6, I'm pretty sure, so the top 8 will end up on the front rows of the quarterfinals. I say, when we get to the grids, I'll try and explain a bit more. But basically, think of it this way. The TQ man, number 1, he goes to quarterfinal 1. If you're P2, quarterfinal 2. P3, quarterfinal 3. P4, quarterfinal 4. And then so the guy in 5th goes to 1, 6th goes to 2, and so on down through the intermediate standings.
I'm going to cheer for Julien Meunier on this one.
Yeah, that's fine, mate. You can cheer. I have to be neutral, but as a Frenchman, you can cheer for Julien Meunier.
Yeah, and I mean, also completely, he's a very good driver.
Yes.
In the French Championship, he has been driving a lot, and we saw him perform at a very high level, so it's good that he managed to be here, and I think he's going to show us what he can do.
I think it is as well. He had that spin yesterday in Q1, which made things a little bit difficult for him, but Meunier with Gellens, Mikuzis, Tejes and Gerklis in this. At the minute, Meunier, Gellens and Gerklis is your top 3. Great start by Gerklis on the outside line, also by Gellens from P number 2. Meunier's going to have to slot into 3rd here, but if he can hold it off the wall, he should manage to get the turn 2 in the same position. Goes around the outside of Gellens, Meunier, lovely move, hits inside, so Meunier moves up into P2, has a look on the inside here at Gerklis. That was tidily done from that start.
Yeah, very good move, very clever. He didn't go into the contact, just drive around the cars on the outside. Very nice.
And here we've got 4 of the Audis, I think, and 1 Skoda. Still a good mix in Super 1600. Did you do Super 1600 on your way up, or straight to Supercar, or what was the background?
Yeah, straight to Supercar, basically. I've never done a race in Super 1600, only few test sessions. So,
good.
yeah.
Aren't they great? We were saying, me and Hal were saying yesterday, it might have been Hal, might be one of the other drivers, there's something about like the revs, isn't it?
Yeah, the revs. And actually, when you go from Supercar to Super 1600, you feel like you have time, you know,
yeah,
to put the car where you want and to actually do very nice racing lines and to optimize everything. And sometimes you cannot do that in Supercar sometimes. So, but it's very interesting because you have to keep the speed all the time. You have to be very neat, very precise. And it's actually a very, very fun car to drive. So
it's a good learning tool then for Supercar, is it? Because Supercar, you can get out of jail so easily in Supercar. You make a mistake, light the throttle up.
Exactly.
But with Super 1600, you have to be a bit more accurate.
Yeah, I think this is a very good school. And as I said, because you need to keep the speed all the time, you have to be precise. You cannot afford to do a mistake. If you go oversteer at some point, you lose a lot of speed. And you have
we
to
saw
be
with
very
Gellins,
precise.
didn't we, a minute ago in the final corner. Gellins got 2 sideways, and you can see that Tiges has got up to him. Meunier, look, has jokered and is already on the back of these 2, so they're definitely a goner. The question mark is now whether Meunier is held up, which I think he will be here, and that's going to allow Gerklis to get away. Now, Gerklis in the intermediate standings is 12 points back, so really, Meunier should hold on to that. He goes out wide. Meunier looking to go wide. Tiges goes defensive. Meunier will try and get to the inside line. There won't be enough, and it's a mistake then from Tiges. Trying to go round the outside. If he can pull this off, Meunier should be inside on the exit. And Tiges just squeezes the door shut. That
could have been the move of the weekend.
Yeah, it would have been brilliant, wouldn't it, round the outside? It would have been absolutely fantastic. Tiges defending now. Gerklis could go here. What's the gap back to Meunier? No, he doesn't. He stays out. Nyirád is the leader, and that's released him. So he's been released. Tiges has gone joker, and that releases Meunier to try and close the gap down. It was 3.5. Look, Fabian, it's gone up to 5 now.
Yeah, it's not going to make it, but when you are being held up like this, there is nothing you can do anyway.
And that's the strategy, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sometimes the spotter calls it for you. Sometimes you make your own choice on the joker. You're not going to get it right every time.
Yeah. And Gerklis seems to be very quick also. So.
He was very... So Gerklis last year, I'm sure you watched Höljes last year, and he won in those horrendous conditions in Höljes, and I think he won at the end of the year as well. Yeah, he did. He won in Turkey, and he won in Höljes. Yeah. But did you watch the finals from Höljes, the water?
Yeah.
It was so deep.
Yeah.
It's the worst I think I've ever seen it there. And it was a fun day for us, maybe not so much for the drivers. So Gerklis coming round. This is the end of RX3's qualifying, so we'll have the intermediate standings after this. Gerklis going to take the race, but Meunier has made it up to P2. Here it is, over the line. Gerklis with the win. Meunier up to P2, good job by him. Gellins P3, Tiges, and then Mikuzis. Fabian, thank you so much, mate. I'm going to let you go, and we're going to crack on. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you in Hungary. I won't be there, but you will, and I'll see you in Sweden. But yeah, good luck getting the car ready, mate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, mate, so much. Fabian Paille, what an absolute pleasure. From a legendary rallycross family as well, he is. So yeah, good to see him. And Nils Andersen is going to join me in the commentary box now as well. Let's take a look then at the intermediate standings for RX3. Julian Meunier with 2 session wins, a P2, and that Q1 where he had the spin takes the top qualifier spot. Then it's Rytis Gerklis moves up ahead of Gellins. Then it's Kragas, Libor Tiges, Mikuzis, Souza, Senegaknik. Let's see who hasn't made it. Rosrud, Couture, Dufas and Ferreira. Vaclav Tuma didn't do enough. Look, equal on points, but he hasn't done enough to make it through, unfortunately, to the semis. Let's head down to Hal Ridge in the paddock.
Johan, intermediate classification, top qualifier, exactly what you wanted coming into this weekend, but not the start you wanted in Q4. So similar issues, I guess, for you and your teammate OC. What happened?
Yeah, I stalled, and Ole Christian bogged really hard, so I had to really dip the clutch. So yeah, no, I mean, there's no secret that we've been struggling with the launches since we arrived. So now we're trying, to work on it, trying to, make better launches. But at the moment, we are not able to do it. So it's not ideal to, test a lot of new and different things on a race. But here we are, and we have no other choice. So yeah, we just have to try and do our best. Top qualifier after 4 qualifying heats. So I mean, now everything restarts. So. I'll drop the clutch and see what happens in quarterfinal.
We look forward to it. Thank you, Johan.
I like that. I said they're going to drop the clutch and see what happens, Niels. It hasn't happened quite how... Niels Andersen, by the way, team manager for KMS, Johan's team. Those starts weren't quite what you wanted, were they, mate?
Not yet.
Not yet. I like the way Johan says, I'll drop the clutch and see what happens. So we know you guys, obviously, in the World Championship, you ran the electric cars a bit, but the internal combustion cars as well. And the software is changed. So in Euro, it was more open. In World, it was more controlled to stop the manufacturers spending all the money. It makes sense. But now you come here and you need to do a bit more testing. And I think you had 2 very long days or 3 very long days at Höljes, didn't you?
Yeah, I wasn't too kind to the guys.
No.
We had to do a lot of work. Looks like we should have put even more work on the start.
So needed another day. The lap time we know is good, but yeah, okay, so the team will go and do a bit more. So, right, we're on to RX4. Now, if you weren't with us yesterday, this is a brand new category. The cars are based on the Rally 4 cars. Let's give you the grid. Philip Mellon, Haishun Deng, Anna Rusek, and Thomas Conseil in this one. Deng yesterday was quick. In fact, you know what? There isn't a slow driver in this category. All 8 of them are quick. Anna Rusek had the fastest lap in one of the races yesterday. I think it's a great addition, Niels. Did you see any of it yesterday? It's so close.
Yeah, I was watching a bit on the live stream, and I mean, the racing is close. Everybody's catching up fast to speed.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So the point of this really is it's cost effective. So Super 1600 is still very expensive to go racing in, whereas RX4 should be a bit better. Mellon, well, it is a bit better. The cars are way cheaper to run and also to buy. Mellon with the whole shot on the inside line. It's Haishun Deng in the white car right behind. Behind that's Thomas Conseil. Conseil is with the orange flashes on the front of the car. So yeah, Haishun Deng, great to have a Chinese driver, and he's going to be able to look up the inside. So Haishun Deng makes a move for the lead.
Nice one.
Yeah, fantastic job. Good recovery. A bit of applause from the crowd as well. Philip Mellon just getting too wide. Turn 3 here is really hard, as you can drop a wheel and you're in trouble.
Yeah, for sure. And it's also all of this track is very edgy. I mean, you have the nail every corner, and all of them are linked together.
Yeah, so Hal was saying about this earlier, make one mistake and you lose time through tons of time.
Also, it's tricky to know whether the guy, as they are in the Joker now, it's really easy to fool your competitors.
Yeah, what, in terms of whether they're going to go in or not?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just move your car width more to the left, and then go right.
Then go right, yeah. So you can dummy them. I love that. It's, it was Mansell and Senna, wasn't it? The old dummy moves back in the day. Is he going to go or not? Oh, look at the mirrors hanging off Haishun Deng's car, so I suspect he got too close to the barrier down in turn 4. I reckon these cars are noisier than the supercars at sometimes.
Yeah, they have a nice sound to them, actually.
They do, don't they, with the anti-lag? So Niels, being a professional, is already looking at the lap times on the timing screen. I knew he would. Haishun Deng is gapping Philip Mellon here, but we need to watch out for Thomas Conseil because he is very quick indeed. He's been in the Joker lap already.
Come up to P3 at least.
Yeah, how far? What Joker Delta for you guys in supercar? Roughly, what do you think it is?
I would say it's anywhere between 2.8 to 3.2.
In supercar?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So our predictor's been saying like 2.5 at times, but it's not, obviously.
I think if you do a whole shot and the other guy doesn't, then for sure. But if you want to be safe, then
yeah, you have to. Okay, fine. And how much do you have to do with the spotting? Because I know you can spot, obviously, but as team manager, do the guys have their own individual spotters, or do you spot for one of them?
Yeah, so basically I'm the guy in the middle, helping the main spotter, so that's Tommy and for Johan, and Ole Johan for Ole Christian. Convenient, right?
Yes. Yes. Ole Johan, yeah, exactly. Yeah, very convenient, mate.
I try to keep my head up and see what's going on, and also to help with the delta times and just basically a support.
And you must have to manage them a bit as well, because obviously as a team, and we saw yesterday when you guys were jumped at the start by all 3 cars from set, you have to work together at that point, don't you, to go right and split the tactics maybe.
Yeah, and it's also really tricky to communicate quick enough, because in the end you don't have enough time in the spotter's tower.
So the decision making is literally split second on the fly. Thomas Conseil coming round to cross the line here. What's the gap going to be this time round? They're doing a good job of keeping it pretty stable. In terms of lap times, Conseil is doing 53.0, yeah. Haishun Deng out the front, into the 52s on each lap. So Deng's folded the mirror completely, so his accuracy now is really good. He must have tapped it in the same place twice. This is brilliant.
Driving on smaller margins.
Yeah. So Haishun Deng maybe taking some risks, but it's enough at the minute to keep the gap going up to back to Conseil. Conseil's done 2 53.0s within 0.004 of a second of each other, so he's very, very consistent, but potentially not quite enough to get it done. So here comes Haishun Deng into the Joker lap, over the jump and the right-hander. Deng should hold on to this. It's going to be about Mellon versus Conseil. Conseil on the outside line. Mellon's got understeer and has to come off the throttle. Going to be close over the line, but I think Conseil's going to get him. He does. So Conseil moves up into P2. There it is. Deng with the mirror hanging off, but great accuracy, as we said, and there's barely a mark on that car. Fantastic to have a Chinese driver over here. Really, really good for the series. I say we're heading later on in the year out to Jakarta for the World Cup. Hopefully that's going to bring us a few more drivers from the region as well. So Deng taking it from Conseil, Mellon and Rusek. Hal Ridge is with Patrick O'Donovan down in the paddock.
Patrick, up and down day for you yesterday. Bit of contact there in Q4 to round off qualifying. How was it from your point of view?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we've had a bit of a disheartening weekend. It's been quite tough. I've become a human wrecking ball for everybody else, or human pinball, sorry. Just receiving everybody's hits. But I mean, no, I guess it is what it is. We just have to try and find a bit more time and a bit more pace. I've struggled with the pace this weekend, struggling more so on the chassis side of things. Inside the car, I feel like I'm doing everything right and I'm not quite achieving that result. But that last race was just about trying to limit the damage as much, damage limitation, to be honest, just because I got a huge hit from Yanis there into the rear and picked up quite a bit of damage. As you can overhear the boys in the background frantically trying to repair for the quarterfinal.
Patrick, good luck.
So yeah, Patrick with a bit of contact in that last one. I mean, that is a bit of rallycross. You know what it's like. Sometimes you are giving the hits and sometimes you're receiving them. So on the inside here, Albert Koch, 14 years old, the youngest driver in this field. Then we have Andrea Benazet, Ivo Gabrans and Leonard Lepsis. So the two Latvians on the outside of this grid will get big cheers if they get the job done. Albert Koch, say at 14 years old, was talking to Pinnamaki. Jussi Pinnamaki runs the set squad yesterday. And yeah, he's a very good young driver. Right, looking to see what other questions we've got here that maybe we can put to Nils. Still haven't answered one from Teddy Cav, who's got the best livery on the grid. We'll try and do that later on. So great start on the inside from Albert Koch, gets it away really nicely down to turn one. And everybody's slotted into a line. Really sensible start. You tend to see that around the outside in the background. Not quite enough room for Lepsis to get around the outside there at Gabrans, but they're in grid order. The further up the races you get, normally, Nils, you get more sensible starts, don't you? You know, like sometimes if you get a driver in one of the first races, it's a bit like, oh, this is going to be tricky.
Yeah, it could be, but I think in this race, I think we also could see a bit of the track specifics here in Riga in terms of the starting grid.
Yeah.
When you have less powered cars like these are, the slots to the inside, let's say P1, P2, has a bit less traction.
Oh, really?
Than 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, so you get a bit of wheel spin.
So they get a bit of wheel spin. So I think that's a bit how you see it play out in this class.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. There we go. Great insight. And how do you guys measure that? Is it a case of just you do start settings and then if you
trial and error?
Okay. So remember back in the day when Mattias Ekström
we're in the error part right now.
You are in the error part. That might be the comment of the weekend, mate. I love that. Brilliant. We're in the error part right now. They'll get it right. I know you guys will. I know you'll be back fighting in Hungary. So Albert Koch leads still from Benazet. Fastest lap for Koch, 53.8 on that opener. Gabrans has gone joker immediately, and that was to try and get the overlap on Lepsis in the background. We have another look at these questions. Benazet trying to find a way through. So Benazet been a GT4 racer. I think he was second, he was in the European GT4 Championship, so he's very good indeed on circuit. Benazet goes joker. So this will cover Gabrans from behind, but also he clearly feels he's got more pace than Albert Koch.
It's going to be quite tight. He's going to have like 0.4 seconds.
I love this. So Nils Andersen is using his very own special machine to, that's what we're going to call it. I said, can we talk about this on there? He said, no, we can't. So he has a technique of measuring those gaps, and as you say, it is tight.
It's by eye.
It was what?
It's with the eyes.
Yeah, with the eye.
Experience.
Yeah, I'm sure. He has his phone out. We all know he's up to something, secret KMS team manager style, but yeah, brilliant. So Nils looking at our timing screens and his own information to make those decisions, and that's the difference between the teams here, is the amount of information that they're gathering and just the decisions they're trying to make. They've all got their different teams use different weather apps, and it's, rallycross sometimes looks like cars bashing into each other in turn one, but I promise you there's a lot of F1 stuff going on in the background. Into the joker lap. Lepsis goes, so this will be the cover off behind Albert Koch and Gabrans. Koch has managed to, Albert Koch's out front, Benazet and Gabrans. Benazet here trying to go the long way round. Benazé's on the throttle early, uses the curbs, goes round the outside. I was talking with Fabien Paillet earlier. The merge here is brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a hate and love relationship always, though.
Yeah, whether you win or lose. Yeah, I totally understand that. And it's, I mean, when you guys, if someone's coming out of the final corner, one of your drivers, and you know the merge is going to be close, how do you talk to them about where you want them to be? Because most places, oh, it's going to be close, but here you can really make a difference as to whether or not they can get under.
I mean, in the end, on this track, it's quite specific because the main lap has the priority.
Yeah.
So you always have to adapt to that. But usually what we give is give it up to the drivers. They will know that it's tight. Then they figure it out.
So they either go tight and make it around the outside. Albert Koch in the Joker lap here. There's a train of cars on the other side. Yesterday we had 4 of these cars over the line within 0.6 of a second of each other. Albert Koch should try and hold on to this. Benazé will try for the long way round. There's going to be 3 wide over the line.
Mega.
Koch gets it by 29 hundredths of a second. Oh, Benazé, sorry, the timing screen's changed. Benazé got it by 29 hundredths of a second. Lepsic's 1/10 back to 9/10 of a second. Yesterday it was 6. That was great.
Yeah, it's like in RX3 when we used to drive with electric.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's so close. It's so
Super
close. That's
cool.
what we want. That is what we want. Right, let's take a look at the standings of RX4 then. Their qualifying is finished. It is Benazé who gets the TQ. But look at this. This is what I love about it. Benazé won Q1, Albert Koch won Q3, Ivo Gebrandts won Q2, and Hao Deng wins Q4. So the Chinese driver with a brilliant job. 4 Renaults at the top of the table. Then you've got a Ford, a Peugeot, a Renault, and another Peugeot. Brilliant stuff from RX4. What a great addition. Their semis and their finals will be later on. Hal Ridge is in the paddock.
Niels, a bit of an up and down day for you yesterday, clearly struggling a bit with the starts and then getting stuck in traffic. Good run though in Q4 ahead of the quarters. How are you feeling ahead of this new knockout race?
Yeah, I mean, I like it because otherwise I would be out already. So for me, it's quite good to have it now. Yeah, like you said, I struggled with the starts a lot yesterday. Then I caught always up in traffic. I think Q1 was okay because I had Rokas and Andreas in front of me, so I was not in too much traffic, let's say. Yeah, but I qualified 2 and 3. I got once a big hit from the back. Then I was in traffic again, and same was in the other qualifying heat. So yeah, I couldn't really go in and show my best lap times yesterday. Now I finally had I think the start was still not so great in Q4, but I managed to be in front of the other guys at least, and could end up in P7, which is okay.
Thank you. Good luck for the quarters.
Thank you.
Got it, mate. Cheers.
Great stuff. So 2 cars missing from this. It is, I believe, the Martins brothers, Flavio and Paolo, are missing from this. They didn't pass their tyre check.
Okay.
So that, what does that mean, Niels?
Basically, you register the tire beforehand when you start the race, and then every time you come up to the pre-grid and go from the pre-grid to the starting grid, the FIA is checking so you have the correct tires corresponding to what you said you would have before you start.
Right, okay, so basically they either put the wrong tyres on or maybe tried the cheeky one, but I think probably the wrong tyres.
Most likely.
So that's a shame. So the Martins pair have put the wrong boots on the car at the wrong time, and that's going to cost them dear in this because they were sitting in 12th and 13th place in the overall standings. That is one of the longest holds I've ever seen on European Rallycross start grid. Inside line here is Neumeier. Loses out though to the outside. I think it's Baldins it is in the 81. So Ronalds Baldins racing at home, and the Latvians should like that to see him go into the lead.
So this gives me a lot of throwbacks. Because I raced Ronalds Baldins on this track in 2019.
Did you?
Lost out, so he won. He took P1.
Baldins is good, isn't he?
He's good, yeah.
He is good. So he had retired, but I noticed at the pre-season test that his truck was here. We were using it for the scrutineering bay, and then we came the other day and I was
now he's going for the move.
Yeah, it's in the inside line in the background. It's Neumeier and Lohéac. Lohéac just in front. Yeah, so you raced him, but more importantly, Niels, you raced these cars for a number of years, and I think you've got a few championships under your belt, haven't you?
Yeah, so I come from Kart as a background, which is a great school. I really like the addition that this year we introduced the RX5 category, because it's a great school. I mean, I learned the basis there and then moved on to cars.
So cross kart, so I don't actually think we've covered this. It's motorbike engines with a sequential gearbox. They're rear-wheel drive. They're very, very light, aren't they? So the late braking in these is unbelievable.
Yeah, and also one addition that's key to know is that they have a spool diff in the rear. So basically they don't have any differential of the tire torque. So they have 100% rear wheel drive at all times.
So it's locked
both
effectively.
wheels. It's effectively locked.
So that means if you want to turn it in, sometimes you've got to be really aggressive with
Yeah,
it.
and you've got to have to slide just a little bit, not too much because you lose time, but just a little bit, enough to rotate the car.
I love backing a car in. And sometimes in cross car you see people really, if you've got a really tight hairpin, you'll see them back it in big time. We're not seeing that here. I don't think it's the track for it, but they're a lot of fun to race, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure. I just remember my father was angry at me because when we raced on the Riga track in 19, we had to take new pop rivets on the floor every time because of the jump.
Really?
So he was tired after doing the pop rivet.
So you were wearing them off on the track?
every session.
Absolutely brilliant, brilliant. We had somebody lose a floor here once.
Yeah.
We got a problem here for Bowdens has had an issue. Yeah, he's come past us and the car is not sounding good. So Ronald Bowdens dropped a long way off the back of the pack, just came past us, 9 seconds down. It's a great shame for the home driver. So Lohéac is in front of Neumeier, but Neumeyer's done the fastest lap and he's already back onto him. So spotting, obviously, it depends on the category. Sometimes, with junior cross car particularly, you're not allowed to have a spotter. Now, this isn't junior cross car, so these guys will have. And they're quite noisy things, aren't they, cross cars, when there's a motorbike engine right behind your head?
Yeah, for sure. They're some of the most fun cars to drive. I've driven them for a couple of years, then moved on to Supercar Light, tried RX2E, but I think it's only Supercar, or RX1, sorry.
No, it's fine. I still call them supercars, Super 1600.
Who is actually comparable to the enjoyment of driving.
But with the cross cars?
Yeah.
Really?
Because they're fast.
Yeah.
I mean, they're efficient machines.
Yeah, they are. There's nothing on the cross that doesn't need to be there. So Neumeier is desperate to find a way through here. They're on the final lap, so Lohéac's going to go joker anyway. Neumeier gets a really good entry here. But RX5, a great addition again with RX4. Basically what we're creating here is a ladder of opportunity for drivers to climb up to get towards RX1. And it's working fantastically so far. So I hope you guys enjoyed it at home. Let us know in the YouTube comments what you think about that. As we see over the line, Neumeier going to take this and Lohéac going to come home in P2. Okay, what else have we got on here?
So I'm actually on the archive trying to find the lap times that we used to do here when I was here.
I love this. So Niels is looking up his own lap times from when he was racing here to see whether or not he would be competitive. But KMS might be about to lose their team manager here. Bowden's over the line from a long, long way back. Where's Höljes? Result, we're going to look at the result. Höljes, where is he?
Jörg Linnemann, you came here with reasonably low expectations, I would say. Not a track that you've got on well with in the past, new tyres to you and all these variables. It's been tough, hasn't it? But you're into the quarters. What can happen from here?
Yeah, I don't know what to expect, but I think I've been a little bit lucky with the quarterfinal. I'm in with Seppa and Rafas. That is fast, but on a good day I can beat them, I think. So I believe if I get some luck, I can get into the semis. So we will try our best. We put all in with the new tires we have left and go all in for being in the semis.
The tyres are different, aren't they, to what you've driven on before? This track is also very different. You look like you've been struggling a bit with the chassis. What can you do between each session to try and improve that?
Yeah, we have tried every sessions to make improvements, but it haven't paid out. So we try to get a little bit more grip on the front end to get less understeer. I have been turning the car on the handbrake every time because I can't turn in on this track. We had the same problem last year, but not so hard, and I guess it's the tires that make it even harder to get less understeer. But yeah, we have tried, and we found some more speed to Q4, and hopefully we can find a little bit more for the quarterfinals.
Thank you, good luck.
Ulrich Linnemann hoping to find that little bit more pace and make his job a bit easier in the quarterfinals. Niels Andersen here hoping to find a good start on the start.
It's not up to me.
I know, yeah. At least you can blame the drivers for it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay, good. There we go.
That's the nice thing with being the team manager and not the driver.
It wasn't my fault, mate. Yeah, and you're not the spotter either, so you've got lots of people you can blame, Niels.
Yeah, but they complain to me instead.
Oh, do they? Yeah, okay, yeah. So you get all the complaints and none of the glory. So yeah, on this one then, Marco Muru on the inside, then Diego Martinez Gonzalez, Benjamin Bartlett, Otto Horvath, and we have Dominikos Kovacs on the outside.
So I used to have many great fights with Marco Muru when he was racing in RX3.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess he was driving 2 seasons.
You must miss the driving, and I miss competing myself. But like, there's a point at which you have to go, I need to earn a living instead of spending all my money on motorsport.
But I still want to drive. I mean, I'm looking for something to do, so if it's anything out there.
Okay, we'll let Nils know. Great start from P number 2 from Martinez. He's going to get the whole shot down to turn 1. So yeah, Martinez Gonzalez coming out of turn 1 first. Behind him is Otto Horvath in the number 8. And Muru has got through into P2. Muru, of course, was on the inside line on the pole, but as we've already discussed, the pole is not somewhere you necessarily always want to be. Another question's come in from YouTube. We'll keep our eye on the racing at the same time. Nils, is a good one, I think, from Mr. Durkee. Now that Euro RX is returning to Mondello after 30+ years, what other old tracks would you like to see return, and what new tracks would you like Euro to go and try?
It's easy. Arvika, my home track.
Yeah, actually, Arvika's a good track.
I think the last time they drove European there was in 1998, and Tommy Kristoffersson won.
Did he really? Okay, yeah. So that's good for you then, the KMS boys. Joker at that time, Bartlett went and Horvath went as well, so they've both got Joker on lap number 1. I love Nissenbanen in Denmark.
It's
really
cool.
Enjoy that.
Yeah.
Arvika, yeah, I like that. We were there 1 year.
Kubola is cool.
Yeah, Cobra would be good. We were there, of course, when we with World several times. Where else would I like to go? Lydden Hill, obviously it's an hour and a bit from my house, and I know that'll be a fan pleaser, so yeah. Hell in Norway. New tracks is difficult, isn't it? Because obviously there aren't so
people
many.
Need to start building them. Now that we're back, they need to start building tracks.
Do you know where I would love to go, and I hope there'll be some people who agree with me on this, is I want to persuade Jonathan Palmer in the UK to put Brands Hatch back in, but I want it as it was. I want tumble downhill from the top of Paddock Hill Bend. You have to go across the knife edge, and then we have to go Hoppy's Drop and back down the straight the wrong way. You'll have seen the old footage. Yeah. Brands was a great track. There was the big overtaking opportunity at the top of the hill into the hairpin. I would, so that's an old new track in that I would love to see Brands Hatch invest and rebuild that. Now the thing is, to get the circuits to do it, you have to have a healthy sport. You have to have fans coming, you have to have sponsors, you have to have a good entry. And Nils, I feel like we're at the point now where circuits might be looking at this and going, you know what, we want the European Championship back.
Yeah, I think also it's a big change.
Now there are obviously places like Arvika, yeah, they're lovely, and obviously Brands, Nissenbanen. There are some requirements for the FIA in terms of safety, which is understandable. This is the highest level of rallycross, so the track has to be safe. So there would need to be some work done, but
easier with barriers than tracks.
Yes. yeah. But so I mean, I just think people would be willing to do it.
Yeah.
Right, you better get to work at Arvika, mate.
Yeah, I have to push them or help be there on more work days.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah, you need to be there. Yeah, sweeping and changing the Armco and everything else. Martinez Gonzalez leads from Muru and Kovacs. The gap back to Horvath, who blasts past us in your shot there with Ben Bartlett in behind. Those two cars have jokered, but I think the gap is too much to the leader. Oh, Horvath hanging it out through turn 3. Here are your leaders, Martinez Gonzalez and Muru. I'm fascinated by the big rear wing on Muru's car, and some of the cars have got a tiny little one in the back.
But it does make a small difference, essentially, especially like on the jumps, how the car flies.
So Gonzalez leading still, going to go Joker, Muru goes with. Let's see if any of them catch up. Kovacs was 4.2 off the back of Muru. I think they're going to hold on here. So this is a sensible race where the top two have gone, we're making a gap, don't challenge each other, and you can fall into that trap of challenging each other and losing time, and then you get the overlap from behind. So good decision by Muru and Gonzalez to stay out there and get themselves the top 2 positions here. Martinez Gonzalez with a 3:35.1 as well. It's a good time. How Ridge in the paddock?
Kevin Hansen working as Andreas Bakkerud's spotter this season. You won this championship a couple of times with your friend Anton Markland a few years ago, but you've worked with Andreas in the past as well. This is a new pairing. How's that working, and what's your strategy? I'm sure you're not going to tell us, but what's your strategy ahead of the quarterfinals?
I mean, it's tough. It's always learning a new driver. I mean, quarterfinals now, it's just making it forward. Keep climbing to semifinals. Our aim is always to finish high in quarters and semis and end up on the podium. So it's about playing it smart. Strategy-wise, it's, as always, take the start, Joker last lap.
Thank you, Adam. Great insight.
So Niels Vollander's had to head off because it's quarter-final time. Because thank you. Oh, sorry, Niels Anderson. That's the we discussed the two, Niels. Niels, thank you, mate. So Niels Anderson said, I'm all good. It's only a short walk up to the tower, but he has to go. And I do understand that. He said, he basically looked down the track from where we are and he said, I can see the cars in the pre-grid. I've got to go. So he's off. And we have in this one Martin Nyirád, Tim Brouwmuller, Armin Raag, Robert Permalis and Valentin Comte. And Martin Nyirád so far is undefeated in qualifying. We've seen lots of the other categories have had multiple different winners, but Nyirád is on for a clean sweep at the minute with 3 out of the 4 sessions. He has been epic in the starts. Yesterday in Q3, didn't get away from the line beautifully, but once he got off the line, he managed to beat them down towards turn 1. So can he get it done this time? Nyirád on the inside in the top qualifier spot. Not going to be beaten to that, I think, unless he has an absolute disaster here. And again, not the best reaction necessarily, or best getaway, but just tidy on the way down to the first corner. Goes around the outside here, look, and gets away. Contact in the background there. Wheelie. It was the 117 of Valentin Comte that was up on the back wheels. So yeah, big moment for them, but managed to get the front wheels back down. Armin Raag with a fantastic start, again with a big blue rear wing. Armin Raag, I think Martin Muru's teammate, if I remember correctly. And they're running the same car, so... Yes, it is the P-Tech Est Fighter 2. So that's the white and blue car in P2. The leading car is Nyirád. He's in a TN11, so that's Thierry Neuville's car that he's built with Life Live. So Thierry Neuville, the WRC driver, has a cross-car building company. TN5 and the TN11, the 2 chassis that have come out there so far. And the TN11, which leads now, is probably the most popular of the cross cars at the minute. Hal Ridge is coming back into the box, but this should be a good fight. So Nyirád and Raag. Raag has won here before on a double-header weekend in another rallycross category, and he's very, very good around this track. But at the minute, Nyirád is the benchmark with those 3 session wins. Oh, Raag with a tap on the barrier on the inside line. And yeah, good stuff on these. Look how close they are to the barriers, super accurate. Nyirád with the quick lap on lap number 1, 51.0. Martinez Gonzalez, the session leader, with a 35.1. And Muru in close behind him, as say. Raag is in the same car as Muru, so we know this should be a quick time. Mr. Ridge.
Hello.
How the devil are you? That was great stuff, mate. Could you hear the comms as well? Fabian Pai and Niels Anderson were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I heard they were good. I was...
bit busy
chatting about tyre wear with people and stuff, very boring really, but...
No, not actually. One of the questions that's come in is about tyre wear and what's kind of the difference in terms of the number of tyres compared, like Niels was telling me, 12 last year, 8 this year.
Yeah, so now for 2026 you get 8 new tyres. We're in the first round of the season, so you've got 8 brand new tyres. This is an RX1, for example.
Yeah.
Thereafter you only have 4 new tyres at every weekend. You carry 4 used tyres over. What I was referencing earlier was that the most astute drivers, or the drivers that are in a position to do it, will start right now carrying new tyres where they can, or at least partially worn tyres, because you know you need them at specific circuits later in the year. Lohéac, for example, you need good tyres. The Kristofferssons, the Bakkeruds will already be looking after their tyres for that on that basis.
Raag's gone, Johan going to cover off Brouwmuller and gets back. Yeah, absolutely, Hal. I think, am I right as well that you can register a tyre and not use it? So in theory, it's about what tyres you've registered. So you register 8 here, and then you have
all on registration. You register your 8 tyres.
Exactly.
It's up to you what you do with them.
Yes. So my point being, you don't have to use them. So let's say you could run 7 tyres here.
You could run
6.
4 if you really want to. Ollie O'Donovan, for example, has only run 4 tyres so far.
There you go. So if he doesn't make it out of the quarters, he might have 4 new ones for later on in the season.
I think you would, in his position, you have to run 4 new now just to try and make it through.
Make it, fair enough. But again, it's limited laps, isn't it? So, and those used ones could have done no laps, 2 laps, 10 laps. You're going to pick basically your best 4 at the end of this weekend to take forward.
And this is where the team comes into it so much, isn't it? As we come through to the final couple of corners.
Nyirád, is he going to take the T, or he's going to take the TQ, but is he going to take a clean sweep is the question mark. Yes, he is. 3:29.9. Nyirád goes 5 and a bit seconds, nearly 6 seconds quicker than Martinez Gonzalez, and Nyirád clean sweeps qualifying. Martin Nyirád with the TQ. All 4 qualifiers won by him, 50 points apiece. Then Armin Raag in P2, Tim Brouwmuller in P3, Permalis, Muru, Gonzalez, Comte and Horvath. Let's see down into P12. And there it is. So Bartlett, Neumeier, Baldins and Kovacs have made the cut, and we are Flavio Martins, Paolo Martins and Marin Liosek not going to make the cut. So the two Martins brothers, unfortunately, not being able to, with the tyre issue on the way in there, they weren't able to make it. Hal, I don't know if you saw that or not, but the two of the cross-car drivers, the Martins brothers, I think they're brothers, went to pre-grid with the wrong tyres. So the tyre barcodes didn't correspond. They weren't allowed to start. They were in 12th and 13th, and they're now both out. It's a real shame.
Yeah, as I was about to say, as we finish that race, this is where the team element comes into it so much, because you have to be on top of what tyres you're using at what point. When you're running two cars, there's tyres everywhere. You've got to be really clinical about what you're using and when. But also you've got to record what you've used, how many heat cycles they've had, how many laps they've done.
Yeah.
Gone are the days of looking, okay, Johan Kristoffersson was in the back of the awning looking at his tyres to see what the wear is like, but it's not just a visual inspection, it's all about how much they've been used from a heat point of view as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, quarterfinals, first time we've ever done this. The top 24 have gone through to the quarterfinals. This is only in RX1, although it is available to the other categories if we had a big entry. So, mentioned earlier on, the top qualifier, number 1 in the intermediate classification, goes to quarterfinal number 1. Number 2 goes to 2, 3 goes to 3, 4 goes to 4. So that's your front. Now, continue that down, 5 to 1, 6 to 2, 7 to 3, 8 to 4, all the way down through the 24 cars. That gives you what happens here. So now, when the top 3 go through from this, they will go through to the row 1, row 2 and row 3 of the semi-finals. Now the top 2 qualifiers, obviously P1 and P2, they're in quarterfinal 1 and quarterfinal 2. They would be the pole positions if they go through, won't they?
Yeah,
correct.
Very good. And what you've just done there is what everyone in the paddock is trying to do at the moment.
Figure it out.
Trying to work out where they are, what they're going to be, what the implications are. It's going to be fascinating as we get some grids for the quarterfinals. So 9, finally, we can have it in front of us rather than trying to work it out for ourselves. But it is new, isn't it? And I love the fact that it's new for everybody, and it's a little bit complicated for everybody as well. But once we get to round 2 and 3, it'll be common, won't it? We'll be used to it, and it'll be normal.
So, okay, here's a good way of putting it as well. Remember the old odds go to semi-1, evens go to semi-2. That's the same here. So all the drivers from quarterfinal 1 will go to semi-1, the top 3. The top 3 from semi-final 3 will go to semi-final 1. So the odd quarterfinals go to the odd semi-final. The even quarterfinals, so number 2 and number 4, will go through to semi-number 2. When you get to the final, of course, it's top 3 again, puts you on what row you're on. So row 1, row 2, row 3. Then where you sit on that row is determined by where you qualified. So let's say Johan goes through with Andreas Bakkerud to the front row of the final. Johan would have the pole because he's out-qualified him. Now, if it was Bakkerud, let's say in Trepak, Bakkerud would get it because he's out-qualified him, and so on down the order.
And that's how it was traditionally from 14 to 20.
It's been carefully worked out, hasn't it? Yeah, okay, you could argue that, you know, if you win quarterfinal number 1 from the back of the grid, you go to the front of the semi-final. Well, all right, that's the way it works. Like, if you've done that, good job to you. The point is, you want the TQ, you want the pole in quarter 1, you then want the pole in semi-1, and then you want the pole in the final. They don't want to give it up at any point. Cars are down there in the pre-grid. You see Kristoffersson rolling up towards the grid. He is your quarter-final number 1 pole sitter. So there he is on the front row. Joni Tapainen is alongside him. That's because Tapainen qualified in P5. Then you got Yannis Baumanis and Kasper Janssen. Wow, I'm already thinking, how strong is this as a quarter-final? And then on the back row coming through, there they are, Ollie O'Donovan and Alice Vucic on the back row. So the front 4 on here, Hal, are all very much up at the sharp end, and because you could have one little basic, we could end up this year, and will do, some of these quarterfinals could be like semi-finals, and we could see top drivers getting culled early in the quarterfinals.
Johan Kristoffersson just had a failed pre-start there as well.
Did he?
They're not fully on top of what happened. It was a different issue for OC and Johan.
Did you hear what Neil said about the start? So he goes, yeah, because we're slot number 1 and number 2 here. He said, with the low-powered cars, the grip's a bit low, so you get a bit wheel spin. That helps you get away nicely. And so cool. I said, how are you measuring the grip levels in the grid? Because Ekström used to have that machine, didn't he, to measure it. He goes, trial and error. He goes, we're in the error phase, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. My quote of the weekend. It's
Johan
great.
just said to me, we haven't had such bad starts all weekend since this event in 29, whatever.
Oh, he'll have a statistic on it, won't he, somewhere? He'll have a statistic on it somewhere.
But also, I think with these staggered grids as we get for quarters, semis and finals. We don't know what the grip's going to be like on row 2 and 3, and historically here in Riga you've seen good starts specifically from row 2. We've seen people go around the outside of the first row before, as we see Ollie O'Donovan in the Team RX Racing Peugeot 208 do his pre-start. So Kasper Jansen, if he can absolutely hook up this launch with the 3 Orica-powered 208s in the middle and back row here, if they can nail the launch, then there's a good chance. Look at all the rubber down, Andrew, on the first row, because they've been starting there all weekend. Interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, going to be very interesting, isn't it, how to see how it plays out in terms of those grip levels on the grid. It's not always good to have the rubber down, is it, that can make the starts. But then on the other hand, if you're on a clean bit of tarmac, where do you do your settings? You maybe have to go back to where you were for FP1. Balmanis from row number 2. Right, this is it then. Knockout stage of the event already with the quarterfinals. Can row 2 get a good start? Great by Jansen on row 2. And not a good start by Kristoffersson. Going to be P2 down to turn 1. Not a disaster. Kasper Jansen outside him. Kristoffersson in the background. Balmanis has gone round. O'Donovan off on the inside as well. So Balmanis is left in the barrier. But importantly, Tapanen got the whole shot ahead of Johan Kristoffersson. So Kristoffersson now, Hal, this is still tricky, because if it was a semi, he could joker immediately, but it's not. And he is quicker than the likes of Fuchik, and he doesn't want to be in that traffic.
Smoke pouring off the back of Tapanen's car as well. He's had contact in the rear, hasn't he? Yannis Balmanis pulls off next to our commerce position. He's out of his home round of the European Rallycross Championship.
What a shame.
Kristoffersson, I think, will indeed joker. No, he won't.
Look at the flames
Yeah,
out the
you're
back
right,
of Johan's
Andrew.
car.
Fuchik's just in the
That's what I
window,
mean.
and you can't guarantee O'Donovan into the joker.
He can't go now because he's going to fall back too far. So Tapanen now, obviously, we know Johan's got great pace here. We know he'll be managing his tyres a little bit. But he looks to the inside line, but he can't quite get there.
He also knows that Johnny's got great pace, so he's not going to get held up in that fight at the front.
Look at the difference. Look at the difference, Hal. And now Tapanen goes defensive. Kristoffersson's in his rear bumper. He also goes on the inside line. Thought he might have a look on the run to turn 3. Look at the flames of Kristoffersson's car. And a couple of messages last night saying, have you seen how much it flames? We actually have a rear-facing camera, or did yesterday, looking at those flames, which was mad. But look at this. There's bits of the track where Tapanen gains a bit.
You often do, don't you, in those tight sections, because you can get on the throttle that little bit earlier as the race leader.
Johan doesn't go again. I thought he was going to go that time, and they're now being caught. Look in the background. Kasper Jansen is on the back of them. So where they're going defensive now, there's a train of cars. Fuchik has gone, and now the window's open, Hal.
Remember, times don't matter anymore. It's just on position, so it's all about beating the drivers around you. Fuchik comes out of the joker. He gets out ahead of Ollie O'Donovan in the 208. This train at the front, they just dropped Jansen slightly on the exit of turn 2. Kristoffersson will be managing this, Andrew, as well. They'll know they've got the gap. He won't want to overstress the tyres. He won't want to push too hard, knowing that they can use the joker strategy. But he just said to me, he's frustrated a little bit that people joker to stall him. He's like,
they've got to try, haven't they?
That's what you need to do if you're going to beat the fastest driver on a single lap.
That's frustrating, but he also is that guy. And we were saying, I said with Fabian earlier on, and still he doesn't go. Said with Fabian Paye, Kasper Jansen's gone. That's not a bad move. I wonder what Jansen will have learned as well with a couple of laps behind the 8-time world champion.
The only move there for Jansen, because he's got clear air. He can come back out into that lovely gap. He can absolutely push on now, and if the two leaders hold themselves up, then there's no reason why he couldn't win this race.
For Jansen going through it, that would put him on pole in the semis, wouldn't it? So, great stuff. Kristoffersson still behind Tapanen. Look at this, look how patient he is. Tapanen breaking right to the apex of the mid rotation. And Johan Kristoffersson with just that bit of understeer through. Here's through the hairpin and then out to the right-hand side.
Jansen's not doing enough. He's a tenth slower in the opening sector than Tapanen and Kristoffersson. One of them will joker this time around for sure, just to mix it up a little bit. I would send Tapanen now, and I'd send him late in the hope that Kristoffersson goes too.
So you try and dummy him in, and he doesn't. So Kristoffersson goes and Tapanen stays out. This has to be Tapanen's best lap ever, because you know damn well it will be Johan Kristoffersson. So through the left-hander, Tapanen now. His spotter will be on the radio pin, and Mackie will be up there as well. He said this has got to be a perfect lap. Kristoffersson is so tidy on the exit. Watch now for the biggest push lap you've ever seen from Johan.
And this is where he's so dangerous, when he's got free air and he knows he needs to deliver. Let's have a look at the opening sector. 13.3 for Tapanen, 30.2 for Johan Kristoffersson. He's already taken a 10th back at the very start of this lap.
Will the 10th be enough? Because, of course, Kasper Jansen will have the inside line on. So we're doing some shots here where you can see the gap for yourselves. Look at the concentration on Johan's face. What's that split looking like, Hal?
They haven't got there yet. 19.0 for Tapanen. 18.8, another 2
So he's done
tenths.
another 2 tenths. Johan's taken 3 tenths out of on this first lap out to put the last lap out to Painen through the right-hander. 3 tenths should be enough, I think, to Painen looking for that inside line, but Kristoffersson's there already. To Painen tries to get the nose there, but Kristoffersson comes around, flings it over the line. There's almost a celebration there, dare I say, from Johan Kristoffersson. Top 3 go through to the semi-finals, so it's Kristoffersson, Painen and Jansen who are going to go through. That was a great drive by Kristoffersson. Hal, he looked really pleased with that at the end.
He did, and a lot of respect there from Painen. He could have run the nose deep into the final quarter and forced Kristoffersson wise. Chose not to do that.
I wish he had.
You can tell Johan's pleased. Look at his eyes.
He loves the fight. As much as he says, I love 50 points, he loves the fight. He absolutely loves the scrap. That is the World Rallycross champion at his very best here. And look, he's only got to Painen by 3/10 of a second. Casper Janssen did some brilliant laps in there to get onto that front train. Food Chicken O'Donovan not quick enough today. Balmanis really unlucky in turn 1. I think he's going to be not too happy about it. Here we are, turn 1. Let's see what happens. So Balmanis in particular, P4 at the moment. What happens to him? Does he turn in across, or does he get? Not sure whether Ollie gave him a nudge or whether he turned into Ollie. We can't tell from that angle, but either way, he ends up parked at the side of the track. He won't be happy about that, Hal. It's a bit of a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, you're always going to be frustrated, aren't you, when you get turned around in the quarterfinals, but especially when this is your
home event,
outing at home.
Well, there we go. This is Painen look with Kristoffersson. Kristoffersson did have a good look at first, but Painen's quick. I mean, yes, we know Kristoffersson's ultimately probably quicker, but this is what they had to do yesterday. As you said, Hal, people are frustrating Johan by look at the flames out the back of the Polo, by jokering to stop him doing his normal strategy. They've learned now, don't give him 2 laps, ever. And that's what Paye was saying to me in commentary earlier, he said, you can't give him 2, ever.
I'm surprised that Janssen wasn't able to close the gap more after his joker. It clearly didn't click for him in the way we would have expected,
isn't it?
But yeah, like I say there, Painen very respectful in the final corner.
Goodness me. It's like 6 semi-final, isn't it? It's exactly like 6 semi-finals. Okay, Rutkanen on the pole, next to him Andor Trepak. Both have been very impressive, but Trepak, particularly on his second event, it's just amazing. Tamas Karai and Nils Volland on row number 2. And on row number 3, Zoltan Konček and Jose Oliveira. So Konček's been quick at times this weekend. In front of him is country, in fact, 3 Hungarians in this, with Karai in there as well, and Trepak. German, a Portuguese and a Finn. Now we know Rutkanen starts are good, but also Trepak's been getting away well. And again, Fabian Paye earlier was saying he's super excited about them again. So let's see. Trepak versus Rutkanen, row 2. Can they get through any of the gaps here? It's a very even start on the front row, but Rutkanen, as they go up through the gears, gets away. Trepak moves out wide. That allows Karai inside. No! Rutkanen gets pushed round. That's a disaster for him. He'll have to get on the throttle, gets on the handbrake. Rutkanen spins the car around. Trepak is sideways in the background. Zoltan Konček from the back row of the grid is up. Is there more contact in there? And it's Volland who leads at the minute.
Trepak lost out badly out of turn 2, but Nils Volland, who's been struggling all weekend in the traffic, it all came good for him there in the first couple of corners. Someone's got a boost leak, you can hear it on the trackside microphone.
Well, that might help Rutkanen. How far back is Rutkanen?
I think Volland's got
3.8 off, Hal, but he's got to close that gap. Rutkanen's desperate to get into the semis here.
The door's coming open on Volland's car on the right-hand side. I wonder if he's got more damage because he looks slow here, doesn't he, relative to his normal pace?
Konček goes joker, and so does Rutkanen, crucially. So Rutkanen here, Hal, he's gone joker, but he's got Konček in front of him. He's going to have to pass him on track now to be able to make that strategy work. And, of course, he needs these guys in front to continue getting tangled up.
Rutkanen really needed a clear joker, didn't he, without anyone in front of him?
It's Volland, the lead 2. I think it's Volland, because Trepak just out-dragged him down to turn 3 as they came by. It's one of those 2 lead cars with the boost leak.
Yeah, Volland got squeezed, didn't he?
Yeah, look, he's having to go really defensive. So Volland with the issue now. If he backs this lot up, that could help Rutkanen in the background. And Hal, I think this is our first sign of the absolute carnage that can happen in the quarters. Is what Biķernieki said yesterday. There is a lot of, potential to have an issue in the quarterfinals.
And at the moment, it's one of Biķernieki's cars.
But nudge in the background. Up the inside, Oliveira gets a nudge. Oliveira then dives off to the left-hand side. Karai gave him a nudge. There you go, Joker. It is all playing out very quickly here. So Oliveira goes backwards.
Rutkanen's still in danger here. If Karai can clear Volland,
he's going inside, trying to find a way through.
Rutkanen's tidy though, isn't he? Very rarely will you see him sink an optimistic move up the inside of someone. Volland is doing a good job here to hold off Karai. Karai looks to the outside, down into turn 3. Rukkonen's flying out front. Look, Andrew, 48.5.
Look out, and around the outside, Vollen's gone again. So yeah, you're right there, he runs deep. Karai's gone deep. Can any of the cars behind get through? Konček can't. Konček is the problem here, Hal. These two cars in front again get lapped. I'm sorry, so again get done on the overlap in the Joker.
It'll be okay though, because Trepak or Joker presumably win the race. Then Konček and Rukkonen will clear these two.
Through, shouldn't they? Who's gone? Has someone gone there? No, yes, Vollen's gone Joker, so Vollen has gone Joker. He's out of that train, he's pulled off the side, so Vollen is out. Niels Vollen is out here in the quarter-final stages. Rukkonen, how you said he's a gentleman on this occasion, I think he needs to be a bit less gentlemanly. But also Konček, how quick is he going?
You need the grid positions in the semis, don't you? It's no good starting on the back row of the semis. If normally, historically in the World Rallycross Championship, we start on the back row of the semis, you'd had a pretty poor qualifying.
Yes.
And now Rukkonen's been right at the front all weekend.
Yeah,
and
now
this really hasn't worked for him.
No, it hasn't, so...
But we need to see the first corner again, don't we? Because someone might yet get a penalty for the contact.
Yeah, for sure, but I don't think that's going to be Rukkonen, is it? You know, so
no, he was at the front.
Yeah, so but unfortunately, that doesn't matter what they do with penalties. He won't promote it. Well, unless it's one of these guys behind who hits him, of course. Unless it's Konček.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Okay, into the Joker goes Trepak. Trepak coming round now, so Trepak is easily going to come out in front. Karai is still in the window to get done on the overlap by these two. Maybe how they're on the radio to Rukkonen going, look, you can play it safe if you don't do a silly move.
Well, you can't afford to. You can't afford to have contact and have an issue now and fall even further back. Because he's right on the cusp, isn't he?
He is. Well, there we go. I think one of the things about the quarters, Hal, is this is that thing of if you end up in a grid with drivers you're not normally with. So if you have a problem, you end up in the first race. With no disrespect, man, there tends to be more contact and more silly decisions made by the drivers further down the field. So now with the quarterfinals, you are going to have some of those in every one of your quarters. You've got to be front row, I think, in the quarters to think of yourself as safe, and even Rukkonen wasn't.
People get desperate too, don't they? This is their last opportunity to get in.
I want to go through. We used to see this, the semis always used to be bangers. In the background then, this is about whether Rukkonen makes it or not. Smoke off his tyres, Karai on the inside, he has to beat him and he will. So Trepak takes the checker flag, will go through to the front row. Konček with a brilliant drive. And then Rukkonen goes through as well. Smoke is pouring from the front right corner of Rukkonen. Is that tyre, Hal? Hal Ridge is looking. I think it's more than tyre. There's something coming. Rukkonen's front right. Look at it on your pictures. You can see there's a lot of smoke coming out of Rukkonen's car. He pulls over to the side of the road. Rukkonen might have a problem here. Rukkonen's car is potentially on fire. Could be steam. We're not sure yet. The marshals are running across the track now. Rukkonen here. Smoke pouring from the top. He's made it through to the quarterfinal. He's climbing out the car. Hal, I'm not sure. He's not that urgent, which makes me think not fire. And also the whiteness. What do you think?
I think maybe an oil pipe
That's what I'm thinking
split
too.
And it's just burning the residue.
So are there flames? They have to be careful opening the bonnet, because when you introduce oxygen, then the fire gets worse. So normally here they open it very carefully and look. No, it's not too bad.
And Johan will say, don't put fire extinguisher on that, please.
It's the worst.
Because it will start eating everything. But brilliant at putting fires out, not brilliant at preserving your RX1 car.
So I think that'll get trailered back, Hal, but then obviously the team now has some work to do, and we need to take a look at the replays to see what happened in turn one, because will Konček be penalised? If he is, then Karai might make it, but Trepak managed to stay out of trouble. Trepak was on the outside of the front row, Rukkonen was on the inside, and yeah, it didn't go well for Juha. He's made it, but now the car has it's jeopardy is what's going on here, and that's the word I was looking for earlier, which I couldn't think of in the middle of the race. Karai, Oliveira, and who else didn't make it? Vollen didn't make it. Here's the start, Hal.
Let's have a look back then. So Rukkonen moves over on Trepak.
Now he's turned on Karai, to be fair.
So Konček's
can't disappear.
Konček's done nothing wrong there.
No,
so Konček's absolutely
but
fine. He's come from the back. Oh, it's a big old clonk in the side for Rukkonen. But Karai can't disappear.
No, that's what I mean.
It's really hard from that camera angle.
And Karai got a good start. I don't know if we'd have it from the crane or from the drone. I'm not sure. I doubt it.
Vollen's obviously just got squeezed.
Back out. Oi.
Vollen's just had a squeeze there that's pushed off a boost pipe or something. So unlucky.
It was noisy too, wasn't it? Much noisier than Linnamann's boost issue yesterday. That was the contact then with Oliveira. Oliveira got pushed wide by Karai and then dives off to the Joker on the left. Here's Trepak, and Trepak through to the semi-finals. Good stuff. He made the semi. Look at the Vollen then, of course, was a sitting duck. And actually, Vollen's, Karai running deep.
He drove really well there, Nils, to try and hold on.
But I think Vollen's issue was the key to Rukkonen getting back. because without Volland holding up that train of cars, I don't know that you know, Karai might have been further up the road.
Sure, because Ruchten drove it into the track. Well, he was unlucky that Konchek went on the same lap and wasn't able to release the pace of the Hyundai.
Wow. Don't ask me who went through in any of this, because I've already forgotten the first one. The second one will be history in a minute, so we're just going to do this race by race. Andreas Bakkerud is in the pole position. Hal Ridge is running after Juha Rutkinen. On the outside, Rokas Baciuska, P2. Third place, Damian Litvinovic on the inside with Maiko Tam outside him. And then on the back row, Mark Moser and Kjetil Larsen. So Hal's gone running after Juha, I think, to try and find out what the issue is, because Juha is not coming back. Hal's now running back again. Hal Ridge with the top qualifier time running across. Andreas Bakkerud looking up already at the lights. He's made his choice on his settings. He's going to have to live with that now. We'll find out from Hal in a minute just what's up with Juha, but let's get this one done first of all. So Bakkerud on the front row versus Baciuska. We know both these cars start well. Baciuska has been getting quicker and quicker. Litvinovic and Tam behind the no slouches either. Bang, clunks the car into gear. The settings are chosen. Here comes the anti-lag now. You can hear ba 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 in the background. Revs up, lights up. And then lights out for the green. Here it is, away from the line. Great start, Andreas Bakkerud. Maiko Tam with a strong one as well. Defensive move by Jeff Baciuska on the run to the first corner. Shuts the door. Maiko Tam gets squeezed here by Litvinovic. Tam has the inside. Litvinovic gets punted out wide. Maiko Tam holds on. Litvinovic now with Larsen alongside. Larsen up from the back row into P4. Great stuff by Kjetil Larsen, but runs deep. And Litvinovic passes him inside. Litvinovic nearly in the wall, spun to the outside line. Kjetil Larsen as well. They've both gone round on the outside there. Wow.
Litvinovic was well up the inside.
Moser's out, Hal. Moser's out. I wondered where he was, because when they spun, I thought he'd get through, but he's pulled off after the start.
Litvinovic was well up the inside of Kjetil Larsen there.
Yeah,
I don't think you can move across that much, really, when the car's there. It's very quick into turn 4 at the bottom of that little straight. What a start, though, from Andreas Bakkerud. Baciuska, again, very sensible. He's been out of this type of racing for so long, but he's so astute in the first corner.
Have a look how, no, you can't do that. Sorry, to me that's Larsen. You can't do that. So I hate to say it, but I don't hate. Look, I'm not a steward, but I think they'll be frowned upon. But the question mark, Moser is out already, so Litvinovic has got to get himself up to P4 at least, and then hope that there's a penalty for Larsen. But we don't know that. You know, the stewards might look at it and go, no, fair enough. Yeah, I think Kjetil was maybe
that's only the global situation of the points for the year. It's not going to get him into the semis later on, is it? Because Tam, Bakkerud and Baciuska weren't involved in that instance. So,
yeah, true. Yeah, yes. Sorry, yes, of course, he's ahead already, isn't he? So yeah, it won't make any difference. No, he's behind. Yeah, you're true. Unless one of the top 3 has an issue, it won't be enough anyway. So Bakkerud continues to lead from Baciuska and Tam and Hal. Really, I can't see any of these doing anything silly, and I can't see the cars behind matching the pace. Litvinovic has got the pace, but Larsen is sideways.
Tam's been quicker than Larsen all weekend, for example, so unlikely to be caught unless he has a problem in terms of being in the cut-off. You can see the line on your screen on the graphic. Which top 3 will go through?
I think Litvinovic has got a problem as well, Hal. You'll have to have a listen next time he comes around with the famous bat ears. Let us know what you think he might be. So, OK, what do you think of the quarterfinals? Let us know. I'm sure some of you will love it and some of you won't. It's a bit like Marmite, isn't it? Very British reference there. I like it. I like the jeopardy. I do feel for the drivers who qualified well and have been taken out, but it could have happened in the semis. I think the thing is, with how the semi-finals will always fire in the European and the World Championship, because as you said, you've made the cut, now you're desperate to make it through to the final, and of course this is just another cut. It's just another cull of drivers earlier in the day.
And if you've made the back of the semis, having qualified at the back of the quarters, you'll be fully pumped, even though there's a good gap now between the semis later on today.
I'm a bit scared for the semis. Awesome stuff. Bakkerud is driving away here. Baciuska in P2. Oh, it's an off, down at turn 3. Kjetil Larsen has dropped it at turn 3 behind us. You just picked it up there on your pictures. The cameramen in front of us were pointing over our shoulders. Dropped it big time. So that is it. Where's Litvinovic? Take a look at this, take a look at this. You can see Larsen dropping it. Does he drop it on the brakes? Yeah, he does. Litvinovic is back to him, and look, oi, boom. They just spent a lot of money making that car mint. He's still going, though. Oh, no, he's not. Is he still going? Yeah, no, he's on a go slow. He's out. We can see him from here. He's on the standard lap, and he's on a go slow, so he's going to be out. Litvinovic seems to have picked up the pace, but without any problems. How he's another one, unfortunately, who was right up there, row 2 on the inside, and he's going to get knocked out.
Yeah, and Larsen feeling the pressure of Litvinovic coming back up behind him after that contact. There he is,
parked
on the right-hand side. Shame for him.
Yeah, it is a shame. He was all full of, he was excited yesterday. Checker flags out. Andreas Bakkerud, Rokas Baciuska and Maiko Tam have had a very uneventful race. Tam is a fair way back, Hal. But Bakkerud coming round, taking the check. It's a great result for him. So front row and of the semi-finals. Baciuska comes through for row 2. And Maiko Tam is going to come through for row 3.
Interestingly, at the end of the previous race, they've taken Juha Ruktinen's car on the back of a lorry and taken it into the infield.
That's not what they
really
need.
set promotional, want that car back ASAP to try and solve whatever is going on with it for the semis.
Why they've done that?
Well, I think Juha leaving the car probably wasn't the
greatest
most
idea.
Amazing idea.
What did Juha say? Sorry, you chased after him. Did you catch him?
Yeah, I'm totally out of breath, and he said, "I don't know."
Good old Juha.
Cheers.
Good old Juha. Take a look at the results to that one then. Yeah, Kjetil Larsen, unfortunately. Do you know what? To be credit to Larsen, he got a brilliant start and he was up to P4 around the outside in turn 3. I thought he was going really well, and then Litvinovic got him on the exit, and he obviously thought, no, and yeah, that's what happened. So Moser pulled off literally after the start. Kjetil Larsen with that contact with Litvinovic, and then the two of them sort of span, and he got back in, then dropped it on the brakes. Litvinovic P4, he won't be happy, I'm sure. Maiko Tam, Baciuska and Bakkerud, the most untroubled of the quarterfinalists we've seen so far, I would say. Johan was out of trouble as well, wasn't he, really?
And that's critical, isn't it, so far? Let's have a look back at the replays. Bakkerud makes a brilliant start. Larsen, as you say, had a good run through the first couple of corners. Tam shut the door there on Litvinovic, then got up the inside in 2.
And look at Larsen here. So where they're fighting on the outside, look, he goes, thanks very much. And I think he must get Litvinovic here on the outside.
Got really forced wide, Damien Litvinovic, and then went for the inside on Larsen and got squeezed right to the inside.
Poor Maiko Tam won't know how lucky he was there. You can't see what happens behind you, thankfully. Look at this. Oh, he dropped a wheel on the dirt, look. He's lucky that didn't go in harder.
Yeah, we've seen some big ones there over the year, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Normally, when you run wide on the exit, isn't it? Drop the rear, stick the front in the wall, boom. And you get washing machined on the exit. Oi, oi, oi.
Only if it's raining. Is it not more of a tumble dry if it's dry?
I'm just looking to see if we'd had any more questions coming on YouTube, but at this point, we haven't got time for them anyway. So, quarterfinals, what do you reckon? I like it.
Yeah.
It's, look, I'm going to understand why the top drivers are not going to like it. So that, but they will be a beneficiary of it at some point when they have a shocking weekend and they're P6 on the grid. They're going to like it.
I think ultimately, if you've got 30-odd RX1 cars, or any category, if they've got that big an entry, it's a lot to do 3 qualifiers, do Q4 on Sunday morning, and then go home.
And then go home.
So I think it's great for giving people additional track time.
And also the fans.
I think they're exciting to watch, aren't they? And of course, people are either lovers or haters of a concept, depending on how well they do or how likely they are to get knocked out.
People that hate the Joker lap, you know, fair enough.
Yeah, everyone's got an opinion, haven't they?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's right.
There's a saying there which you can't use on TV. You might know it. Ola Christian Baby is on the pole in quarterfinal number 4 from Patrick O'Donovan. So Baby would have qualified 4th. Johannes Raffos been so impressive here. I'd love to see him make the cut. Anton Sepper just outside him, couple of youngsters. And then back here, Ulrich Linnemann and Paulius Pleskamus.
Can Baby get the launch?
Yeah, because if he doesn't here, you could be in a world of pain, couldn't you? Because again, because of the split, not only because you get caught in problems, there's Patrick, look, getting himself ready to go, but it leaves your tactics a shot if you're back in the pack here, because there's a couple of slower cars. Here we go then, everyone making their choice. Kristoffersson will have given feedback to Baby, I'm absolutely certain of that. The Peugeot's not the easiest car to launch either, but everybody gets away well. That's a banger of a start for Baby. Raffos moves across in the background. He's going to hold on to P3. Sepper inside him, though, in turn 2. Sepper might make a position here. Raffos with contact between them. Raffos on the door. No, he went on the brake and he should have gone on the gas.
I think it's broken anyway, Andrew, where the wheel, look at the wheel turning out on the right rear.
Oh, what a shame. That's absolutely gutting, and that's parked in a tricky position. The marshals are running over to him. Out front, though, your leader is OC Baby. Patrick O'Donovan going with him. Linneman up into P3. Linneman was on the back row. How that's a result for him.
Great Fury Linneman, very sensible as well from Patrick O'Donovan in the first couple of corners. Didn't get the launch, did he? And was just careful, knowing that it can all be thrown away in the quarters. Great traction out of the Peugeot as well, out of turn 2.
Pleskivas, I think, has gone Joker in the background. Yes, he has. So Pleskivas gone Joker. Rafos is out. I'm gutted for Rafos. It's not what he deserved. Not what he deserved at all. I can't say I'd lay the blame anywhere. Coming out of turn 2, when you're 2-3 cars wide, you can't really go, oh, that wasn't on. You know, it's just that unlucky angle, isn't it?
I'd need to see it again, to be honest.
Well, we'll have a look after.
He had a good start, didn't he? He was up the inside of O'Donovan into 1.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Like I say, and he moved across nicely, you know, to defend that inside line, but that's not quite enough. So Patrick went with OC for the first lap, but OC has now managed to gap him by 0.9. Doesn't matter because they're a long way up the road from Linneman. This is probably going to be the battle between Linneman and Sepper, isn't it? Actually, it's going to be the interesting bit, because these two are going to get away. And there they are in the background, Linneman and Sepper coming through, because top 3 go through, remember, from the quarterfinals. Okay, so here we go. So this is it, isn't it? This is the battle for the place, really.
Absolutely, and they're going to have to mix the Joker strategy up. Sepper's not a basher, isn't he, from what we've seen so far in the past. Pleskivas just comes over the line in front of our commentary position, absolutely sideways. OC's dropping O'Donovan here.
Linneman here, Hal, has got to... We need the... You know the roller coaster, Linneman? Which bit's the good bit, the up or the down? We need the good Linneman. Like,
well, the good bit usually comes after the down.
Yeah, so Ulrich, okay, well, let's say he had the down yesterday with the boost pipe. Hopefully this is the up. Ulrich's such a nice guy.
Black flag from that race for the contact with Holland.
Yeah, okay, that was a bit naughty.
O'Donovan Jokers.
So O'Donovan's gone in. They must think they've got enough over P3 here, because he won't want to fall into that traffic. So this is a good move. And in the background, importantly, Sepper has gone. So it's the next lap merge is the one you need to watch. Fabi, I think he's far enough up the road. I don't reckon they'll joker him until the final lap, which actually is there's 5 laps, of course, in the quarters. So
look at the understeer from Petter Solberg through the various apexes in the final corner. OC up front is being relentlessly consistent here, isn't he? A couple of attempts separating each of his lap times. He has his critics, doesn't he, OC, as a rally driver, a bit like Petter, you know, just driving by feel, but here he's really delivering some 4.6 up the road from O'Donovan. Now, of course, he still needs to take his joker, which he is doing this time around from our commentary position.
We've got the gaps up on screen at the minute. Hal, I'm asking if we can get the intervals, because that'll give us an idea. Here it is, the difference. That's your gap. So 3.4 back from Sepper. So I think there should be enough from Linneman. Linneman coming now into the joker lap. Ignore it. So Baby's going through. That's fine. This is the fight for the last position in the semi-finals. Ulrich Linneman, great drive. Linneman goes through. Sepper on the throttle over the line to try and make it. But OC Baby, Patrick O'Donovan and Ulrich Linneman. Oh, sorry, 1 lap still to go, of course, my bad. But OK, so, no, Ulrich, wait, I was too excited. You've got 1 lap to go, no mistakes.
Had to respond there, didn't he? Much like Vaby did over O'Donovan, you just can't risk the other driver having great pace at that particular point. Vaby can back off now that little bit, so can O'Donovan. The experience of those 2 drivers will mean don't overheat the tyres towards the end of this run. Save your rubber for later on.
Maybe we can have, well, I don't think we'll have time. I was going to say have a snoop around the paddock and see what we can figure out in terms of tyres, but I really don't think we're going to have time, unfortunately, in between. OK, then over the line this time, Baby does go through. Patrick O'Donovan gets P2, and Ulrich Linneman, unless anything silly happens in the last corner, and it's a little bit of understeer in the middle of it. Him and Sepper with a great fight there for the last spot in the semi-finals. Good stuff. First ever quarter-finals for the FIA European Rallycross Championship done. Cars are being parked on the far side. Hal, where is... I'm looking across the here, and I think the car's gone back to the paddock. So Rutkanen, one of our big stories.
It did in the last gap.
So Ola Christian Baby goes through with O'Donovan and Linneman. One of our semi-finalists, Rutkanen, is a big question mark because the car was on fire-ish.
I think it'll be okay
at the end of the race. Yeah, Hal's being positive, and at Set Promotion, of course, that team is a crack squad, and they will do their best to get that car ready again. But yeah, we've had some drama here. Look at the start here. So Linneman gets a good one, chooses to go outside, which isn't a bad idea, I think. Lovely shot from the drone. That's the one we need, isn't it? So we can see what happens in turn 2. And actually, mate, it was the tiniest touch between Sepper and Rafos there, unfortunately. Look, Hal, here we go. This is the Rafos incident again. Look, It's not that one, it's this one.
Nothing any of them can do about that.
Oh, there, it's where he rode up, isn't it? It's tyre on tyre.
Rafos has to come across, and they're just unlucky that the contact has drawn them both out, I think, a total racing instant.
What a shame.
There are 5 or 6 race control messages on the timing screen saying that various things are
through the numbers, mate, and I'll see who they are.
All of them.
Oh, everybody is under investigation. So 5-second penalty for a con. Is that how it goes, I think? Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, so our producer's telling us penalties. The timing screen's telling us penalties, and we did have some grids lined up for you for the semi-finals, but we've thrown those in the bin because they're going to be irrelevant. So now what you're going to see, if you were here at the track, is 15 drivers running across with their spotters and their laptops, furiously arguing their case with the stewards. Behind us here, Rafos in the 6-7. Do you like that? I was dared to do that by Claudia, the camerawoman. Look, he's out of the car. I'm gutted for him. 18 years old. I really, really think it's going to be great. How semi-finals, lot to play for.
Yeah, and I can't even imagine at the moment how the grids are going to play out. But the quarterfinals have been brilliant. The knockout format always brings something a little bit different to the racing action, and we've got plenty more of that to come.
Who's going to be in the semi-finals later on? We'll find out when the stewards have dealt with all the issues. But semis and finals coming up for all our categories in the European Rallycross Championship. We'll see you in about an hour.